of the underground. Make madness your ritual.
What's happening, folks? How's it going? Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are hanging out here in the studio.
Studio.
Hanging out. Hopefully, you guys are having a good Friday. You made it through the week. Short week, actually, which is great.
Wait, did you say short week or shart week?
Either one, man.
It's been both for me. Thanks.
Really? Oh, man. That's the way to enter the podcast right there.
Yeah.
Hey, do me a favor. Check out Anti-Broadcasting Incorporated Custom Screen Printing. They do a fantastic job. If you're looking to get some screen printing done, hit those guys up. Antibroadcasting@gmail.com or 612-836-9488. If you're looking to get some tattoo work done, Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective, 612-353-4755. I'm looking at the numbers, but I said the wrong number.
You did.
Is there something wrong with me? Or?
Oh, well, it's yet to be determined. That's why we're here.
Yes.
This is actually an intervention.
Yeah. Lowbrowsaints@gmail.com. Give them guys a shout. My guest this week is Eric Kais. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Cool.
Not too bad at all. I fucking A, dude. I had crazy last week. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the podcast from last week that I did just solo.
I did not.
I went into this whole rant about a guy that I work with that
Oh.
we got into it over some shit, man. He like called me a liar, and I fucking blew a gasket with the guy. And normally, I mean, you know, it's been 5 years I worked with the guy for quite some time.
Yep.
And it was like I just had enough and just fucking went up on him and kind of started screaming at him, you know.
Boundaries.
And well, you know, it was funny because I was a little surprised that he, you know what I mean? Like he didn't back down, which was fine.
Yeah.
But he was like, he should have, because he was in the wrong. He was, you know, he's being a fucking prick, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, well, it's just, I kind of went on a little tangent of that shit. So I kind of felt bad after I did it, but you know, what are you going to do, man?
Hey, this is your platform, man. Like, you get to vent and do what you, whatever the fuck you want on here,
Right,
man. That's the beauty of it. So
All right, I'm moving the camera around there, so
okay.
Get you right in the spot, man.
Oh,
Yeah, you feel that?
I
Feels
do.
good, don't it?
Ugh. It feels uncomfortable.
A little bit. It's been a while since you've been on here, bro.
Oh, dude, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I have a whole different life since the last time I was on here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, different bands, different things.
Yeah.
You've got the fitness stuff going on. How long have you been doing this, like, as a side job? Like what?
So I was let go from my job with RBC Wealth Management in February of 2019, and that's basically when I like started doing this, trying to like kind of freelance it and just doing sessions out of my basement. And I was training out of North Loop Fitness for a little while.
Yep.
I had a class going for a little bit, death metal and deadlifts, which I'm bringing back in a certain capacity.
Yeah.
But we can get into that later. About 2 years now, but I officially launched Kai's Fitness Coaching on my birthday, 2020. So,
Nice.
Yeah. So
You got the whole you hooked up with Justin too on the logo and everything.
Yeah. Justin,
Dude, the devil thing for the
death metal and deadlifts.
Dude,
deal?
that was dope as fuck.
Yeah, we're gonna
man.
still use that.
Yeah.
Yep. So everything's gonna look real slick thanks to him. So,
yeah, man, it was real cool, and I shared it right away. I said that from the
yeah,
very beginning.
yeah.
With anything that you do, man, like you can shoot it to me, and I'll share it all day
Thank
long.
you.
It's just, you know, I'm one of those cats that's like, I believe in raising the whole everyone, man.
Yeah,
fucking,
rising tides.
Yeah,
and all
man,
that,
fucking
you know,
let's do it. You
all
know?
ships together.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, that's a hell of a question. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, the world is tough enough as it is, man. You know what I mean? We all make enough enemies as it is, whatever thing we do, with anything that we do. You know what I mean? Like somebody doesn't like something that you're up to. You know what I'm saying? Or
Bound to
jealous,
occur.
or yeah. So how has it been going? So
you know, it's been a bit of an elevator business. It has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
But it's a unique opportunity to help people.
Yeah.
And that's what I care about most, is trying to actually, there's so much information out there, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so many different diets and foods and especially when it comes to like the metal community and the artist community, it's just really tough to get good, accurate information.
Right.
And so I want to try to be a harbinger of that good information, kind of a filter and concierge, if you will.
Sure.
For my people, and try to build up health within our community. You know, like that's that's the main thing. And I want to try to do that in a number of ways. I want to try to offer, as much free information as I can without devaluing my time.
Yeah.
So I've got this free Facebook group right now, and if we're just getting started. There's like 125 members in there. If you shoot me a message on Facebook, my profile's public. I do everything transparently. Shoot me a message, and I'll add you to the Facebook group. You can start getting some free info. And, it's just general like community stuff, working together with one another to kind of, again, that whole rising tides raise all ship type thing,
Yep.
So, yeah, that's what the group's there for. A lot of free information.
What kind of interactions do people have in the group? I mean, do they ask nutrition questions?
Nutrition questions. I post a lot of fitness facts, things to dispel myths and so on and so forth. We talk about like, does your metabolism actually slow down as you age? Well, it turns out new information shows that it doesn't.
Until you're like 65 or something, right?
Until you're like 60, and then it's very, very incremental after that. So it's not a metabolic issue unless it's actually diagnosed as a metabolic issue.
Sure. Okay.
You can have...
And that goes with a lot of tests and shit too. Like you have to like they have to really go into your blood and everything, right? To be able to tell that?
Yeah, if you have a genuine metabolic issue then or an autoimmune issue that might cause metabolic issues, yeah, they have to actually do extensive testing to find that stuff out. So you can't just be like, "Oh, my metabolism slowed down."
Right. That's what I've always thought, you know what I mean? As you get older
Yep.
That was like released within the last couple months too, right?
Yep. I think the PubMed study from Dr. Schoenfeld came out like 2.5, 3 months ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what are some of the other myths that you've encountered since with the group,
Oh, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that we do in there too. I mean, just general motivation and just mindset work, meditation recommendations, that kind of stuff, different recipes for, like the other day I posted a protein peanut butter cookie recipe in there that people can use for, kind of scratching that sweet tooth itch, but still getting a little extra protein.
Right.
Another recent kind of discovery that's popped up that we put in the group was, if you go over your calories that we've, like let's say we're working with macros and total calories for the day, and you go over your calories, but you go over those calories in protein, not fats or carbs, those extra calories are almost guaranteed to not get stored as fat.
Gotcha.
Whereas if it were carbs or fats, it more than likely would.
Right. So it's like fuel for you more so than something that's going to be stored in
it's going to be utilized. Basically. Yeah, and so what that does is that kind of breaks down the old myth that your body can only process like 25 grams of protein at a time or whatever, like that, all that bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, it just kind of puts that to rest. We want to try to encourage people to eat as much protein as possible because it's better fuel for your body.
Right.
Like help with the muscle recovery process. Lean tissue in, lean tissue on, basically.
Right.
So yeah, that's a good thing to know. So where that leaves my clients then, or people in general who are tracking, like if you go over your calories, just be sure to go over in protein.
Right.
If you gotta, like if you're having one of those days, if you lose track, lose sight,
Now there's healthy fats, right? I mean, like you can intake fats and stuff like that. Like how about carbs? Like is there a big miss on carbs, or is that something that's pretty?
No, so you do want to try to avoid refined sugars and that kind of thing, just because of the process that they undergo to be made, know. And I think that those are just a little tougher on the
enriched flour too as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, not really with that one.
Okay.
That's kind of more of a subjective thing.
Okay.
Like if you have an intolerance or sensitivity or something like that, or digestive distress when you eat flour, then of course stay away from it. But that's probably all got to get diagnosed by a doctor as well, some kind of functional dietitian type thing.
Right.
What you can do is you can take in more fruits. You can take in better carb sources.
Healthy sugars, right?
Yeah. It's tough to say healthy sugars because it's kind of like how you use them, you know.
But with fruit, that's more of a healthy sugar than refined sugars, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's all I meant by that.
Oh yeah. So like getting your sugars from fruit. That's something I've actually been doing a lot more of lately, and I try to do like seasonal stuff. So I like right now, I don't think these are seasonal right now, but I don't really care because I love them. So clementines and then blueberries. I love pineapple. I like to buy apples by the bag. I just keep all that stuff in my fridge now. So when I get that sweet tooth craving,
snatch them up.
Yep. And having a big ass tub of full fat Greek yogurt. That Fage stuff.
Yep.
I just dip the fruit right in. It's like strawberries and cream, blueberries and cream, oranges. It's like just right there.
Yeah.
It's fucking delicious.
Yeah.
It's a great snack.
Oh yeah, man. I always like it with granola and shit too. I like that. It's good stuff.
I feel really weird being on your podcast talking about fucking yogurt.
Why is that?
I don't know. It just feels weird. Usually we're talking about some other crazy shit. I don't know.
No, that's good, man. You know, I mean, it's now here's the thing is like the work that you've done with Rob Carlson, you know, he's a big dude. You know, he's like, you know, 6'6" or 6'4" or whatever. He's a big
6'6",
he's a big fucking guy, you know, and he is a big dude all around. He's a thick fella.
Yep.
Now, when he started working with you in the very beginning, like you rearranged his entire diet. Like you guys sat down and even you know, you said, "Hey man, thanks for helping me out by pushing the thing." You're like, "Hey, if I can help you nutrition wise, let me know." And then you kind of were like, "Well, we'll just kind of jot down what you do during the day and what you intake." Well, at that particular time, I was like, "Oh, that's not going to be a good list." You know what I mean? But then when I saw what you were doing with Rob, it was like you were changing, you know, the proteins and everything. Like what he was posting in his lunch bag from what Jess was giving him to go to work, and then him doing multiple workouts a day. I was like, "Holy shit, man! You're actually like." This is a guy who, you know, pounds booze, smokes cigarettes, you know what I mean? Like, does
there were
everything.
some challenges habitually to overcome with all of that stuff. And just like his schedule is so packed
crazy,
tight, right?
dude,
so how do we get this guy who doesn't sleep, who smokes, who drinks whiskey and beer to like take it in a different direction while not having to give all of those things up and still, because losing 5 pounds has an exponential increase on your total overall health over time. Yeah. Even just losing 5 pounds can be the difference between diabetes or heart disease and not.
Damn.
You know? So if we can get you to, health is all about, like long-term health is all about figuring out how to be healthy within your life. Yeah. Like not what fucking Men's Fitness or what YouTube or your favorite Instagram Fit Pro has to fucking say about it. It's how do you make it work in your life. Don't sit there and wish that you had somebody else's fucking life.
Right.
You figure it out for your time, your life.
Dude, that really makes sense.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's
not
so
as
simple.
daunting. It's not as daunting. You know what I mean? You're like looking at this guy who's like doing all this crazy shit, but he, you know what I mean? He's on a regimen and has been on a regimen for a long time. You know, like all the fruits that you're talking about, all the antioxidants and all the fucking the good shit that you're talking about with clementines and pineapple and blueberries and things like that. That's shit that I love in general. Like I love that shit. Yeah. If you can, you know what I mean? Like give somebody a nudge in the right direction. Like just looking at the shit that you laid out for him and you know him documenting it by going here. This is what
he's sending me pictures of his food and shit, and he's putting it on Facebook and stuff. So he can be held accountable and talk about it. And I mean, he's so disciplined. He's a disciplined guy, and it's really impressive that he's able to step outside of his habits. Yeah. And understand that he needs to change and then apply that while still maintaining his habits that he's It's a really unique situation, and it's been a lot of fun to tackle.
But watching him trim up too, like I'll go a few weeks without seeing him and then see him drop a little bit and you're like, damn dude, you look good. You look, you know.
And now when he falls off, he doesn't fall off as hard. He and I haven't worked together for like 3 months. Yeah. Just from various life things. He got that house, and I went through a bunch of growing pains with the business and stuff. So I was over at his place just not too long ago. Yeah. Shit, he hasn't gained all that much weight back. Yeah. He gained like 7 or 8 pounds back or something like that. I mean,
that's big.
That's difference that compared to before. What he would do is he would, even though he'd go off the rails, he'd end up ballooning back up and gain all the weight back that he lost. Well, this time, because he's focused on protein, and he's still staying active and he's still mindful, we're building habits for a new whole lifestyle. Yeah. And we're not just doing it's not just this short-term little fucking adventure that you go on and then all of a sudden you're done. You're thinking about what's my fitness look like 10 years from now. Yeah. You know. That's
and I think that's
sustainable.
Isn't that really what humans are kind of prone to?
What we want.
They want the magic pill, or they want the magic diet, or they want
instant gratification.
Yeah, instead of like the hard work that it takes to like gradually. Basically change your activities, like learn new skills to be able to implement.
It is.
Right?
It's a skill stack.
Yeah.
Taking care of yourself and health and wellness, mentally, physically, spiritually, it's a skill stack. You have to sharpen the tool. You have to continually fucking use it. And you have to step in that arena. You have to not be afraid to look at your own bullshit. Right. Like Rob does. He goes, "Oh, I fucking drink too much. I smoke too many cigarettes, and I eat like shit."
Yeah.
Well, how do I change those while still continue to do those? Like those are all things I love doing. God damn it! How do I keep doing it but change it at the same time?
Yeah.
Well, we figure it out. You can do it.
Yeah.
You just have to create mindfulness.
So funny, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, let's see who's on.
Yeah.
What's up? Adam D, what's going on? I know exactly how you feel, Mr. Greg, with the stupid. What did he say? Stupid people. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. You caught that, huh? Right? Yeah. Don't feel bad for calling out someone who's disrespecting you. I feel you, brother. I feel you. Craig Rosen's beard, always checking in, brother. Good to see you, man. Wasco's is actually checking in. Alex said we're watching at Wasco's and appreciate you, brother. Loud Dan says that. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. I know there's a show going on at Wasco's right now, so for people to be watching the podcast while they're at a show is pretty fucking cool.
I do like that.
Yeah, that's nice. Awesome, man.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it so much. Maybe you can pick up a couple things and maybe pick up some suggestions for some good music too.
We might talk about that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So so you're how much do you work out, like personally?
Personally,
dude, you've been doing this for a long time.
I've been working out for a long time.
You've been healthy, and like even at shows, I've seen you pull out like resistance bands just to like.
Such a douchebag.
No, but dude, I understand it because if you're comfortable doing what you do, like who the fuck cares what anybody?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because I know before I used to go on singing and shit, I would do push-ups and like even wall push-ups and just to stretch out my chest to where I feel like I'm able to breathe a little bit better.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Even like stretches to the side where I felt like I'm opening.
Yeah, you gotta
everything.
open up your intercostals.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you're breathing and your breath control's real good. I meditate before we play now. Like, dude, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've kept myself. I've been a little heavier. You know, I've been a little lighter. I usually try to keep myself at about 150 to 160 pounds, depending.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been like dipping into 145 just because I was really on some some low body fat shit. I was just trying to be super fucking shredded.
Yeah.
And it was working. And it was great.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of I get when I'm running that lean, when I'm running like 8, 9, 10% body fat, I notice that I get sore like at the joints more.
Really?
Yeah, it's just an age thing. Plus the extra fat with the athletic kind of movements that we're doing and stuff.
Yeah.
I do a lot of jumping and things like that, and so it's just the extra fat on me.
Gives you a little cushion.
Gives me a little cushion. Yeah. I notice my joints don't hurt as much when I've got a little bit extra body fat. So like between 11 and 15% is kind of my sweet spot.
Right. But you know your machine well.
I do. Yeah. Yep. I work out. If anybody could see me train, they would be like, "How the fuck does anything that guy do? Like, does it work? I don't even know."
Right.
I have my own thing going when it comes to my own personal training.
Mm-hmm.
I train between 5 and 7 days a week.
Damn.
To some degree. Now, what I mean by that is that I probably only have 3 to 4. Sometimes 5 really intense workouts throughout the week, but every day I do something active, or I'm stretching, or I'm working on my mobility. I take 10 to 15 minutes to go for a walk after every single time I eat, just to help with aiding in digestion and clearing my mind. Like, I'm always pretty much trying to take care of myself.
Sure. I saw you post something about meditation, which I'd never seen you do before.
No.
Just the other day, outside, just kind of,
Yeah, I meditate.
Crisscross applesauce.
I meditate 2 to 3 times a day now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's been really good for my mental health. I went through a very, very, very shitty time. 2019 through 2020 was real tough up until I started this business.
Yeah.
And, summer 2020, things started kind of turning around. but went through a real dark time with mental health and didn't know it, and this is the first time I'm really talking about it at all, but like I've been bipolar my whole life.
Oh, wow.
Bipolar 2 is what I got diagnosed with. So finding that out, getting a diagnosis, figuring things out, like why have I been doing this up and down thing my whole life?
Sure.
It all made sense. It all like, holy shit. Like we have a solution to the problem now, you know? And so then I was able to run with it. You know?
Yeah.
Now that I know, and weekly therapy and the whole 9 yards, now that I know what's going on with me, I know how to combat it a lot better. So like a low point, a downtime would typically before take me out for 3 to 6 weeks sometimes.
Now, when you mean to take you out, is mean like not being productive, not being
productive,
not wanting to deal with people, not wanting to get out of bed,
yeah,
not want that just
all of that,
yeah.
like just couched, just couched, depressed, just done. And now I don't have that problem anymore. Like I don't, because you take care of the issues.
Sure.
You do the work that you need to do.
Now, what made you? Now, obviously, it was probably something that was really taxing on you, and you're going through a lot of stuff, and maybe just realized it. But what was the point where you were like, I think I need to like talk to somebody about this?
Well, it took a long time for me to admit that I needed to deal with it in that way.
Yeah.
I went through divorce in 2019.
Yeah.
2020. Made an ass of myself in a particular fashion, and then like around my birthday of 2019, I tried to take my own life.
Oof.
I ended up in the mental hospital for 5 days. That really got me thinking.
Yeah.
I had this manic episode. Completely like felt like an out of body experience. I'm like drifting over my body while I'm thrashing about, and it just scared the shit out of me, man.
Yeah.
Spent the time in the hospital, did the therapy and that kind of stuff, and then came out not really knowing what I was going to do. I didn't really have a job at that point in time. I was trying to do the personal training thing, but just didn't have any. You gotta kind of have money to make money,
Yeah, or motivation.
Yeah, motivation.
If an episode takes you out for so long, I mean, how if you're not ready to take care of yourself, and still trying to like, it's that that like not heeding your own advice type of thing. You know what I mean? Like
for sure,
you're trying to emulate good things, but you're not taking in the good things yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you are selling yourself short.
Yeah.
In that regard, and there's a lot of like especially at that point, there's a lot of imposter syndrome because you've been like pumped up for 5 or 6 days in the hospital. They're like, you're gonna be okay, slugger, you know, and they're like are tossing your hair a little bit when they're sending you out into the world. Like, fucking good luck.
Yeah.
And so I ended up getting this job managing pet stores, a pet store, and that was something I needed to be able to like kind of boost me back up after kind of falling on my face real hard. But the work-life balance wasn't right. I was working like 100 hours a week, and I love running my own deal. I've ran stores in the past. I've done a lot of management work. But the work-life balance thing wasn't right, and this fitness thing just kept clawing at me. Right. Fucked around.
Did it feel? And I don't mean to cut you off, but did it feel like, so did it feel like something where, like an addict is taking one thing away and filling it with something else? Like as far as like you're trying to stay busy to keep your mind busy, right? And you end up getting full on into work. Now you're realizing that you're full on into work, but your regular life is kind of lacking in like your own ambitions, your own dreams, your own goals are like being set aside because you're so far. That's just how.
That's exactly how it felt.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. And it just got to the point where I was so tired of working for other people, making other people money.
Sure.
Trying my best, at these other places, and really coming up short when it came to my own life. When I needed something, when I needed to be able to take time off, see my kid, do whatever, I didn't have it available.
Yeah.
And so I was hellbound and determined. ended up leaving that job at the pet store because, again, too many hours. Tried to, I'm broke at this point. I don't have any money. And I'm trying to work at Chipotle as a manager, and I'm doing the training there. And I'm having anxiety attacks and panic attacks just going to work. And if you're working at one of those places and you throw up, you got to go home.
Right.
I got sent home. I'm having panic. I can't even fold a burrito because I'm having shakes so bad. End up getting cut loose from there too. Can't hold a job, can't hold a pen
Right.
to do anything.
Right.
And ended up.
Man, just stacking. It's like it's like
Dude,
you're trying to get out of it by doing the right
dude.
things and having the right. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Like
as best I could in the moment, where I was at in here.
Yeah.
That. It was a challenge for sure. Then I stumbled into Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life.
Yeah.
Started figuring out that I was my own problem, and I'm tripping on my own dick all the time. Not really caring about myself. Not really taking myself seriously.
Sure.
Putting forth the effort for me
Right.
in my best interest, and so just kind of started putting one foot in front of the other, man. Just started figuring out and learning about accountability and retuning my sense of discipline because it had just gotten so messed up while I was working in the corporate 9-to-5 world. It just it just whittled me away.
Yeah.
Being a subordinate's never been it's okay to know when not to lead and when to lead and things like that.
Sure.
But being eternally a subordinate, I should say, is not my forte. And I gave that place 5 years, and it corroded my soul inside me. I mean, it's just not built. I'm not built for that job and that kind of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, started this whole thing. Kind of just started doing online nutrition coaching at first because I was living out in Wisconsin at the time, and so I was just doing online coaching. And then ended up moving back into town in December of 2020.
Yeah.
And started doing in-person training and just rolled on through. And now we got clients. I got Rob as a client. And we're working on growing.
Yeah.
It's just been putting one foot in front of the other, figuring out your mental stuff.
Now even Brad as well. Brad from Volcano Diving said he's getting in touch with you too, right?
I've worked with him several times. Trent from Living Through Ghosts has worked with me a bunch. Man, there's quite a few. Adam Cribb and Eric McMahon, both that are in the scene. They both have purchased online programs and gone through that process and everything.
It's fucking huge, dude.
I've been really, really fortunate, and I'm very, very grateful for the position that I'm in now versus then. It's not perfect. I'm still working on figuring this whole thing out, how to be a better coach all the time.
Sure.
But my main purpose, my main interest is definitely that of helping my community and making sure that.
Dude, honestly, just this little bit of conversation about taking the time to focus on yourself, and to realize that you needed to work on certain things with yourself, and
big time.
To be able to put yourself out there by saying you had some issues, like being in a hospital, you know what I mean? That alone, dude, it makes, I mean, my hairs are standing up on my arms because I've been there, dude. I know how rough it is. I know how tough it is to not really be able to talk about it, to really not just to be able to put it out there for people to know is a huge thing. That's it's a very it's a humbling thing, to be able to open yourself up. It's very, you feel vulnerable by doing that, and to be able to come out publicly and just actually say that, because I never knew any of that stuff.
Yeah, man. I don't think a lot. So I've been hesitant to talk about it up until now because I had to get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And I had to get comfortable with my life and understanding that one of the main things I've had to embrace about myself is that I'm not fucking perfect.
Right.
That you see what I put out on social media.
Yeah.
I try to keep things on a positive level.
Yep.
I try to be encouraging to everybody. I try to see things from other standpoints. I don't let ideologies or anybody's personal beliefs or political beliefs affect me at all, because I'm strong in who I am now, and I have a better understanding of what I want from life itself. And I I think that those things, like talking about those things, me going to the hospital, me dealing with, like, I think that that's an integral next step for me presenting my, not just my business, but myself out to the scene and stuff. Like, when I talk about these things, it's because I know I'm still working on them.
Yep.
So you guys out there that pay attention, which I'm just happy anyone fucking listens or pays attention, you know. Right. But you guys can know that, like, if I tell you something or if I put this out there, it's because I'm fucking working on it too, man.
Right.
Like, I don't think I'm above or better than, like, I'm not virtue signaling by any means. I'm saying, let's fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's really talk about it. I don't give a fuck that I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
Not one bit.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of it in the slightest. I went and got help. I was lucky enough to have someone around that at the time could actually, you know, make some heads or tails of it and made a decision to get me to the hospital like I was requesting, because I knew I didn't want to die.
Sure.
You know, I knew I didn't actually want to die.
Yeah.
But
you're just that low.
Yeah, just that low, man.
You know, and that's what I'm saying, man. I appreciate it a lot because I know how difficult it is to put it out there like that. And here's the thing, man. It's like letting other guys know that it's okay to have these feelings because you've had them and you're willing to talk about them, and 100%. So many other people aren't. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So many people are afraid to open up. So many people are afraid to be vulnerable, to really understand themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be. I'm the same way, dude. I try to be as positive as I possibly can. There are days when I just don't post anything because I don't want to like offend somebody. When normally it's like I don't give a fuck what you think about me most of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want to be positive for people. That's why I took a huge break from doing this, is because I felt like I couldn't put positive out there, because every time I said something or brought something up that was pertinent, you know, to the situation at hand, be it political environment, be it, you know, COVID vaccinations or not, or anything, those conversations immediately like conjure up these bad feelings for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, well, since you feel that way, you're going to be in this category. Well, since you feel this way, you're in this fucking category.
They love to box you in.
Yeah, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I took such a long break, is because, well, there was a lot of it because I lost Lee's.
Yeah.
I felt that up and down you're talking about. I quit my band because of that whole thing too. It was because there was multiple things building up all the way across the board. You know what I mean? So you saying that really opens it up for other people. And I hope the people that are watching understand that, because
I hope so.
You know, asking for help and actually working on yourself is so fucking important, man. It is so important to realize the ego death, man. You know what I mean? Like I need to put myself here. I need to be like this.
And it doesn't happen just like, so that whole thing with the ego death deal, that doesn't just happen once and then you're done with it.
Yeah.
No, that's a fucking box you got to come back and keep checking over and over again.
Yep.
You got to come back and face the reflection in the pond, and, you know, and make sure that things aren't looking too good, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you want to make sure that you're able to see the ripples, you know, like that's the action taking place.
Yep.
You know,
I love that analogy, ripples, because it's true, man. You know, in so many different aspects of like, you know, Alcoholics Anonymous and, you know, Narcotics Anonymous and things like that. They use that thing as well, that analogy. The pond that you're, you know, looking at your reflection, I think is a great analogy as well, because what is it that you're looking at that reflection in? Is it a dirty pond?
Yeah.
Is it something that's polluted with all of the other shit that you put in it? You know what I mean? Like,
Is it
something that you're slowly moving things away to clear everything out? Are you going, you know, talking to someone, meditating, clearing that pond out as you're going? You know what I mean? It's like, it's really huge, dude, because I feel like I've grown so much in so many years. You know what I mean? Like real hard-headed, real fucking scrappy for many, many years, and kind of made that reputation where I don't think I was getting a lot of the truth from a lot of people. I think a lot of people were agreeing with me or like telling me things just to not piss me off. You know what I mean? Like, they're not telling me.
Walking on eggshells around you.
There's a lot of people. There are a few people in my life that have said that out of spite. And I always look at it and go, okay, are they telling me this to hurt my feelings, or is that true?
Yep.
You know? And I know that there's a lot of truth to that. I think there's a lot of people that kind of like, well, you're Greg Chilton, you've done this, you've done that, or you know what I mean? And I don't look at it like that. I'm just another fucking dude, you know what I mean? Like trying to figure out how I want to clean this fucking reflection up. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, like try to be a good dude and try to like put that out to the world, like, you know, to my children, to my, you know what I mean? Everything.
It's the effort that matters. You know, like it's the action. That's why you got to build those ripples up. You know, that eventually becomes that tide that rises all the ships. You know, like it's that kind of an effect. Like all you have to do is start. You know, like so my brother and I were talking about this kind of very same thing recently on this trip down to Austin, Texas that we went on this big old road trip. And so he and I had this chance to catch up, and it was this really great conversation. And one thing that I told him I've been working on for myself for like things and areas of my life that I still need to pay some attention to, you know, are like, dude, sometimes you're not able to even try, right? Yeah. But you could pretend to try. And maybe in the process of pretending to try, you might actually try on accident, you know? And then from there, who knows what you can do. But if you can just pretend to try, even like on those days when you're couched and you don't, like just pretend to want to get up and go cook yourself a decent meal, you know? Pretend to want to go meditate for 4 minutes and just put yourself in an acting role and just, you know, fake it till you fucking make it if that's what it takes, you know? But at least put one foot in front of the other and get started.
That's the hardest part.
It can be, it can be. But once you're that rolling stone, hopefully you gather no moss, you know? Like that's the idea. Yeah. You need that momentum.
That song always kicks off in my head whenever I hear that. Papa was a rolling stone. Yeah, that's fucking the shit.
What do we got going on in the chat?
I'll see here. Adam says, Eric, how many meals a day would you recommend?
So that depends on the person. But for me, typically, I usually eat between 4 and 6 times a day, personally. I have a pretty strict schedule, at least, like around. So it's strict, but it's not, right? Like there's some flex. I give myself plenty of room, and because I understand that for my goal for the day, I don't even know like what's my protein goal right now, like 185 grams of protein a day or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I know that as long as I pay attention to my total calories, which I already know in my head, I keep that information.
Dude, that shit is crazy, bro. like thinking about that, you know what I mean? Like you go and have a milkshake, you know what I'm saying? Or ice cream or things that taste so great but are fucking so deadly to kill you type of shit. Oh, like all of that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a bowl of ice cream is like this crazy amount of calories.
530 calories for a bowl of, or like a half a pint ice cream or whatever. If you're lucky, it's only 550 or something like that.
Yeah, but you stack, you know what I mean, a fucking half a bag of chips or like, you know what I mean?
It adds up quick.
Real quick.
So you want to pay attention to how, I encourage people to eat nutrient-dense foods. Right. But which ones? That's the thing, is like food selection then if you're paying attention to nutrient density. Right. So how many calories, like calorically dense they are, and then what the nutrients in them make up the calories. Right. If you're paying attention to that, but it then becomes like food choice, right? Because a cup of ice cream and a cup of strawberries, it's each 1 cup, right? But the cup of strawberries is going to have fewer calories and
by
less sugar,
though, right?
by a third, like if not even, probably less than that, or more than that, probably. The bowl of strawberries probably has like an eighth of fucking calories that the bowl of ice cream does.
God, dude, that's just so crazy to me, man. That seems daunting to me, because even if you're like, all right, I worked my ass off today, you know what I mean? And here's the thing. Hi Jess, how's it going? Sorry about that. Hey. We're kind of like in between bouncing back and forth and having a good conversation. But now you suggest to work out early, right? Early in the day. Is that kind of one
Whenever
of the things
you can, man?
But I mean, to get the benefits from a early morning workout, like throughout the day, you're going to burn more, right? Through the day if you do.
I mean, it's all about energy balance. So you can have the same effect by working out later. You just have to pay attention to your energy balance in the beginning of the day. In my opinion, you're better off. I enjoy, and I feel I get more benefit from working out earlier in the day. Right. Right now I'm working out probably midday most of the time. I'll wake up, have protein shake, and then I'll have like my first meal about an hour later.
Right.
And then I'll usually wait about an hour and then work out and then have my next meal, and then I'll kind of go on about my day.
Sure.
After that.
But have you ever been a cat who like eats at night, like snacks at night?
I snack, dude, before bed every single night. I shit you not. I eat a giant ass peanut butter and jelly sandwich with 2 cups of whole milk right before bed.
Wow.
Every single night.
So it's just what you're taking in.
Yeah, just
really?
your whole day.
Okay.
It's all about nothing changes in your body at 9 p.m. that shuts off and goes, oh, carbs are bad now.
Right.
It's not how it works.
So if I was to work out in the evening after or before dinner, have dinner, I'm still burning. My body's still burning.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Now if I was to have a snack later on before I go to bed, it's just what I'm snacking on. You want to make it a healthy choice more.
Yeah,
so
make it a protein based. Make it that Greek yogurt with that fruit.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That is going to.
Because that's what fucking kills me, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've told my wife, she's been doing this longer than I have, as far as like not keeping snacky shit in the house. Like if I have chips in the house, it's like corn chips and it's like salsa. That's what I have. It's never like Doritos or Cheetos or fucking Fritos or any of that shit that's like really greasy or any of that shit. But I don't like. I'll have a small bowl of chips, a little bit of salsa in the evening. I might have a granola bar in the evening. I'm a fucking sucker for popsicles. I just love popsicles, but it's so much damn sugar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it kind of like, I always wonder about that. The end result. My evenings, like I try not to have a fucking giant plate of lasagna before I go to bed or anything like that. But
but if you planned your day and you fasted during the day and you had if we knew how many calories that you needed to take in each day, you could plan around it. And you could totally so you can take. You can consider once we know what your maintenance calories are, right? So the amount of calories your body burns, just baseline, not considering exercise, just keeping the lights on, right?
Sure.
Once we have that determined,
flicker.
Exactly. Yeah. There's just moths like.
Yep.
But once we have that figured out, we can actually add up, and we figure out what the proper deficit is for your goals. Right. So let's say we go 20% below maintenance.
Yeah.
And then we add movement on top of it. So then we get into a good caloric deficit. Once we figure that out, we can figure out what your caloric needs are for the whole week.
Oh, wow.
And we can treat that like a savings account. Right.
Wow.
So like, let's say it's Monday. You want to have, that you've got a barbecue to go to on Saturday. So you're gonna want to spend extra calories that day. You can take in 100 less calories Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and spend them on Saturday.
Oh, gotcha.
So you just eat less by 100 calories, and then you have 600 extra calories right there on Saturday to spend.
Woo!
Yeah. Hell yeah. Give me that goddamn ice cream.
Yeah, right.
That's what you say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was another one of the new kind of things that we figured out in the last little bit, is that you can treat your not just daily caloric intake. Well, it's weekly. It's literally the totality of calories and the totality of motion and energy you spend.
So is that pretty much what they mean by cheat day? You get a cheat day, you get a little bit of
that's what they mean
extra.
by it now. Before, what it's meant pretty classically is that you just go off the fucking rails.
Right.
You're just like doing rails of pixie sticks.
Right.
Yep.
The dry rip, the fun dip dry rip.
You, the fucking Keebler elves, and them M&M motherfuckers are all just partying.
Yep.
Yeah. Usually that's what it's meant.
Yeah.
But now what it means is we can plan for it. It's something that we can use to help you. Same thing with like diet soda and stuff. We figured out now that everybody's worried about artificial sweeteners, and if you're a person who's still worried about artificial sweeteners, or you're allergic to artificial sweeteners, or you have a sensitivity to them, I'm not fucking talking to you, so shut up. They're fine, especially they're helpful in the weight loss environment, especially because that can be the difference between someone blowing their day or not. Like if they
or
need
dude, one of the two.
Or dude, yeah, you could end up not finding any sugar and just needing to blow a dude to get your fix. I don't know. That could happen.
That was horrible. I'm sorry. That was my fault. Sorry, guys.
It's totally fine. They forgive you. I don't. No, but yeah, you can use those things like artificial sweeteners to help get a person over that weight loss goal. Yeah, I know. It's just gone now.
Yep. My bad, dude. My bad.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I just, so before the whole COVID thing happened, we got a gym membership and we were going consistently for 2 months. We were working out quite a bit.
Yep.
Doing, walking. And that's basically what it was. I think my highest was like 364. And I was doing some walking and at an incline, some weight strength stuff. And I felt like I was on a good roll. I felt like, oh fuck, man, this is going to be the shit. I'm going to keep going. It's going to go right into summer. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to be energized, whatever. Then COVID hits and I'm thinking to myself, I'm still in this motion to move forward. I'm like, what can we do? We get our first stimulus check, between my wife and the kid and myself. We bought kayaks. So we kayaked a whole bunch.
Yeah, I saw that.
It felt good to be out there and like keep this thing moving. But then I wasn't going to the gym. And then all of a sudden it was like slowly going back to just hanging out, eating, doing whatever, going to work. I have a really physical job. So I'm like, I move a lot of heavy shit. I still drive a lot, so I'm still sitting on my ass butt.
Yeah.
I am moving a lot of heavy shit. I'm still fucking back and forth all the time. A lot of steps during the day. Yeah. Moving constantly. Then, like, just within the last 2 months, we got a gym membership to a smaller gym, a little bit more expensive, but the gym size and the volume of people coming in and out of it, I think at maximum, there's like 15 people tops in this place at a time, which is great for me. I feel less uncomfortable, like people judging you, you know what I mean? There's still some big meatheads there, but I don't even pay it. They're like fucking, I got my blinders on. I'm just doing my shit,
Yep.
But for the first time in a long time, I mean, before COVID really hit, I was able to jog.
Oh, yeah.
Which I haven't been able to do in years. I was just telling my buddy earlier today. It's like, dude, I don't think the last time I was at a jog to a full sprint was like 2010.
Damn, man.
That's a fucking long time, man.
11 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long time to like not run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. To not use your body in that way.
And dude, I used to fucking walk everywhere when I was a kid, ride my bike everywhere as a kid. I rode bike, for a long time, got a DWI, rode my bike all the fucking time. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where I was actually in motion quite a bit. Right. So in the last couple of months, we're back at the gym again and we're going 3 to 4 times a week.
Good.
And I started, walking at an incline at a good pace, kicking it up as far as I can, just keeping pushing myself. And I've got plantar fasciitis that comes and goes with my fucking foot. And it's like calf muscles and like torn tendons or torn ligaments when I was younger in football.
Those.
Well, so much shit has happened to me.
Right.
But I try to stay on it. You know what I mean? Like, even if I'm in pain, I'll keep trying to go and not, to stretch out and like keep going. So within the last month, I've been able to jog consistently.
Good.
So I'm walking at a fast pace. I'll just up it, and I'll do it on leg day. So like, if I'm doing upper body, I'll stay at a steady, brisk pace at a good incline and keep that going. But on leg day, I like try to do. So I bought a heavy bag.
Yep.
Back up a little bit before we got to the gym membership again.
Yep.
And I was doing 3-minute rounds, and I was just fucking firing, not hard, just fucking firing my arms.
Trying to keep yourself moving, get the breath
constantly.
going. Yep.
And even in between the minute when I'm supposed to be resting, I'm kind of like bouncing back and forth, moving my core, going in a circle, trying to get my feet back underneath me, kind of keep doing squats in between when I'm supposed to rest, like trying to keep it going, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So then we got into the gym. Start doing the brisk walking. Then I start fucking like really pushing myself into the jog for I'll jog for 2 minutes and to try to keep going. Just the other day, it was leg day, and I'm just kind of like focused, you know what I mean? Watching something, not just, I see my wife start to jog and I'll keep up with her. I, kick it up a little bit and I'm jogging. Before I knew it, it was like 6 minutes into it. And I like, as soon as I noticed it was 6 minutes, I was like, I hit the wall and I'm going, all right, slow down. And then I grabbed a hold of the heart thing, you know what I mean? And I was pumping pretty good. And I'm like, okay, 128, that's really not that bad. And I'm going, holy fuck, man. Yeah. So I waited a couple minutes and kind of kept walking at a brisk pace. It's like, fuck it, I'm going to do it again. And I kept going. And it was like, once I hit that spot and realized that my body was able to physically do it, I was like, let's fucking do this shit, man.
Dude, it's such a fucking mental game. Like it really is. Like and to your point about the walking up the incline, you want that plantar fasciitis to go away. Turn yourself around on the treadmill. Walk backwards.
No shit.
Walk backwards. Walk backwards.
It has crossed my mind several times.
Walk backwards and just like do it with the treadmill off. Walk backwards and push yourself on that. Start out just by pushing the belt on the treadmill. Walk backwards. You'll fix it.
No shit.
Yep. And then gradually incline up. You'll fix your knee problems, your hip problems. It'll just go away.
Dude, I noticed that my knees have gotten a lot better. I mean, I don't have to be on them all the time, you know.
Right.
But anyway.
That helps. That usually helps.
I've really noticed that, you know what I mean? At work, I'm up and down on my truck all the time, moving shit around.
Yeah, movement's the key, man.
Yeah.
Like blood flow. Your blood, that's why, so then they say that you are what you eat. It's because what you eat eventually becomes your blood and becomes your tissues and all that kind of stuff. But when you've got an injury or you've got an imbalance, you know, the first instinct everybody has is to ice it and to make sure you don't move it and all this kind of stuff. And frankly, I do the fucking opposite.
Right.
I make sure that I move it to whatever degree I can safely. And I make sure that there's plenty of blood flow. Now, that's depending on the nature of the injury, of course, and everything like that. I'm not advocating for people to just be out just waving broken arms around all willy-nilly or anything like that. But I am saying that like a lot of the general soreness that we experience and a lot of the aches and pains and stuff like that is really due to lack of strength and lack of muscular engagement and lack of connection to that area of your body. And when you have an injury, the last thing I want to do is to stop moving that area. I want to continue to move that area and try, you know, like I break a finger, I don't stop moving it. I didn't splint it. I continue to move at the joints that it's broken at and everything like that, or it's bothersome at, because I want my blood to get in there. You know, you gotta
heal it on its own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're gonna push nutrients into that area that are gonna directly heal. In fact, this broken finger thing healed from the inside out. There was no scrape or anything. I just jammed this against another human being in a mosh pit. Yeah, and it popped it out. It dislocated it, and pretty sure it broke along the side of the finger in the middle of the joint, but it healed from the inside out, and it almost looked like I had gotten sunburned on my finger and it was peeling on the outside.
No shit.
Yeah, it was fucked up. I've never seen anything like it before. It like had dead skin and pushed all that stuff out, and then it was peeling. And
wow, dude, that's crazy.
No cut, no broken skin at all. But it was weird.
Dude, I broke a finger like that. I broke this one before. No, it was this one. I broke this one. You can see that one's all fucking
this one's all
to one side. But I broke this finger messing around with my brother. He grabbed a hold of it and fucking yanked it, and I heard it pop. Oof. And then for a while, I couldn't bend it. And then it was like I just kept at it, and eventually it just healed itself. It didn't it wasn't all curled like this one is like gnarled and turned, you know?
Yep.
But it was the same type of break, though, you know what I mean?
And I mean, I remember back to when I broke my humerus about 10 years ago, and that was one of the main things. It's something that's always stuck with me, is that the orthopedist, I didn't have health insurance at the time, so I wasn't able to get physical therapy.
Right.
And so he gave me some exercises, the orthopedist did, where I just had to do it on my own, which is actually one of the reasons why I ended up getting into this in the first place, is because I had to heal my own fucked up arm, and did it well enough to be healed and back in the gym like a full month and a half earlier than I was supposed to.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool, and I felt very empowered by that. I was like, oh my God, if I know how to work my own body and gather control over this machine that my consciousness has, this giant fleshy robot at its disposal, how can I learn to make this work to my benefit? And that was really cool. And one of the things that he said is you got to keep moving it. And so I just held a plastic bag with weights and broke all the scar tissue loose and just slowly regained control of.
Wow, dude, that's awesome.
I mean, it's nothing anybody couldn't do, but I just had the interest in pursuing things after that. Right.
I was blown away. I did some something in my back. I slipped on the ice and fucked myself up pretty good, but they sent me to physical therapy, and it was like, I know this is going to hurt for a little while, you know what I mean? The guy just kept pushing me, and then, it helped. If he wasn't able to work with me, he'd give me to a hot chick. And it was like, okay, what did you want me to do? And it was like, I was too busy talking to her. Like,
yeah, sure, whatever you need.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, whatever.
That was it.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Is this it?
That was it. And I mean, I was blown away that it would, it healed a lot faster than I anticipated.
Yeah, I mean, strength and range of motion and continuing to keep that element in mind during a healing process is elemental.
Yeah,
for sure.
It kills me. I just said something to my wife. She was really into the whole yoga thing for a good long while, and I said something to her just the other day because I used to be able to kick over my head.
Yep.
I used to be really flexible. I could do the splits either way, straight like this or straight out like that.
Damn.
For a long time. Just because of martial arts, I was just so into. I just loved it so much that I always kept myself very limber, just in case I needed to kick someone in the neck. You know what I mean? But it was like I realized that I haven't stretched like that in a long time. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe that's why my plantar fasciitis is come and gone. I'm in a vehicle, so I'm sitting in this shit like that, and then you got your foot on the gas pedal and you're kind of cocked one way.
Yep.
You
turn an adductor outwards a little bit. You've got a lot of external hip rotation.
Yeah.
When your foot's on the gas all the time, you're extending your hip forward and down. Yeah, I mean it's bad for you basically to be in that position for such an extended period of time.
Yeah, and I was talking to my wife about like, hey, we should come up with some. Like, yoga. I'm like, well, why don't we come up with some good basic yoga stuff to do on an off day just to stretch out? You know what I mean? And then maybe hit the bag for some cardio, whatever. And she was like, that's a good idea.
Hell yeah.
And so I think that's something that we're going to start like implementing when we're not going and doing our thing at the gym.
And that's just it. Is like it's about getting creative, finding a way to put it into your life conveniently so that it works. And then it's not being afraid to try new stuff. You got to step outside. This whole thing. I encounter so many people on a daily basis even that want it. They want it, but they don't want to step outside of their comfort zone to do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't like the gym environment because, again, maybe they feel uncomfortable. They feel judged. They don't like the weights clanging and that kind of thing. But what I would say to those people is like, if you're feeling that way, treat it like prison. Like find the biggest, meatheadest looking motherfucker in the place, and just go ask him a question.
Yeah,
ask him a question where you genuinely need his help. Like, hey, do you mind spotting me on this? Or what do you think if I, just ask him, hey, can you show me how to use this machine? And you just watch that person. Typically, now I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this. Like you're bothering people at the gym and all this kind of stuff. But for real, like, watch this person treat you like a person.
Yeah.
Like 9 times out of 10. If you run into an asshole, that's just an asshole. That's not every fitness type, right?
Sure.
Like that's just an asshole person. Or maybe they're having a bad day, a million other things.
Yep.
Don't worry about that. Just ask a question. Walk up. If you don't know somebody in the gym, find the person that looks the nicest and just go talk to them.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that person, the people that go to the gym want other people to be healthy too.
Sure.
That's the culture. It just is. There's this it's this really weird misconception that people that take care of themselves and fit people don't want or don't like not fit people or people that aren't athletic or whatever. It's very much the opposite. We, just like the metal community is like, all are welcome here.
Yeah. Most of the time,
right? Same thing with the fitness community. It's the same thing. And that's why I want to work hard to kind of try to meld them a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because it really is. It's much of the same.
Yeah.
Just like you can find a group of metalheads at a show if you're not, initiated, and join them typically, and with little to no issue.
Right.
Same thing goes for the fitness deal. It's just about finding that community and finding that way in. And so hopefully what we do can maybe act as one of those pathways in.
Yeah, that whole stepping out of your comfort zone is something. I don't know. I've always been really easy with that. You know what I mean? Like I can talk to people real easy. Like especially if there's common ground. If there's something that, if I see a dude with huge arms and like I want to know good arm things, I'm never afraid to ask him. Like, hey, dude, what are you doing to like beef up your, well, I do this, and this on this day. Yeah. And then another day I come in and I just crush like super heavy. You know what I mean? Like you have to think about the human spirit in its entirety. Like most of the time, people like to talk about themselves.
For sure.
People like, especially
as I'm a guest on a podcast. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, the host of a fucking podcast.
Sure, yeah.
I'd love to hear myself talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of one of those things where you just have to, if you're curious about it, like ask somebody who looks like they know what they're doing, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And especially somebody like you who is willing to, sit down with you, obviously you don't want to sell yourself short or give it away. You know what I'm saying?
Not too much,
but there's a lot of good tips. And if you've created a group, there's going to be multiple people that are going to have that same issue, or they're going to be topics that are going to come up in your group that they're going to find beneficial. And I think that, people just need to like lighten up a little bit. Like take it easy. Like it's not that big of a fucking, it's not that big of a hill to like just ask a question.
Yeah.
My wife does this on the regular basis. Like if we're lost somewhere, we can't find something.
Yeah.
I'll be the one that goes, excuse me, do you know where this is? She'll go, no, I'm not going to ask. It's like the roles are flipped. You know what I mean? Because most guys are like, fuck it, I'll find it. You know what I mean? And chicks will be like, no, we need to ask somebody. It's the other way around. Like she just doesn't want to. Like I don't want to bother this person to do it. I'm like, they fucking work here. What are you talking about? Like ask them. Yeah. She'll always push me to do it too. You know what I mean?
Well, you're the great communicator.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Hey, Crystal, welcome. I want to say what's up to Jess Carlson too. We were just talking about Rob and the fitness stuff, and I appreciate all you guys dropping in and saying hello. And let me see here, Tara Wilson from Texas saying hello. What's going on? Thank you, Tara, for tuning in. And Mark Philibrant, Mark in the Dark, saying what's up too. What's up, brother? Good to see you, Alex. Good to see you. Adam, as always, good to see you. Mr. Eric, how much time should a person spend on cardio?
I guess that depends on your goals. I would say that doing some sort of cardio every day is just good for your heart and lungs. You're not going to get as much fat burn from cardio as you will from doing resistance training and strength training. It's just a fact. That whole adage of like running 5 miles a day or whatever, that's great for your general health. Like running and getting your lungs and heart moving is great. But from like a fat loss perspective, if fat loss is your goal, your best bet is going to be to lift heavy weights and do it often.
Right.
Like that's going to be the main thing.
But the blood flow is key too, right?
The blood flow is key. I mean, yeah.
For healing as well, right?
Yeah, for healing. Cardio is great. Like I got nothing against it. I prefer to do HIIT cardio. I don't like if I do any kind of like steady state cardio, so like walking, running, jogging, where you're going a steady pace. I just prefer to go on long walks. Yeah. I just did that today. I went for 3 miles. I just went walking. And I just worked while I walked. I just programmed workouts while I walked and listened to that new Reaping Asmodea over and over and over
those
again.
guys are fucking heavy as balls, dude.
Hell yeah. Love those guys.
I put on that first single that they dropped, and I played it on the podcast just like a teaser or whatever,
Yeah.
And it's just fucking ungodly sometimes. You just it's like, dude, Dan, go faster.
Yeah, go faster, man. Yeah. No, they've put together a really special record, so that's going to be exciting to see how that all comes out. Yeah. But as far as cardio goes, I prefer HIIT cardio, so I like to basically it's kind of like lift weights faster.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I prefer. But I like a lot of athletic stuff, so I like doing sprints at the beginning of my workouts. And I say the beginning of my workouts because sprinting is so very taxing on the central nervous system.
Sure.
Doing it at the end of your workout, you have a higher risk of injury because you're kind of fried.
Right.
Something as taxing as sprinting, you want to make sure you do at the beginning.
Right.
But yeah, so sprint circuits, any kind of like jumping.
Now, do you stretch before you do your sprint?
Yeah. I've got a whole routine of mobility that I do before I get in with some 90-90s, some pigeon stretching, some couch stretches, and other things like that. They do this one called the World's Greatest, where it has thoracic mobility, so the upper back, upper spine, and then opens the chest up and everything like that, and you get the hip flexors, the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
So run through that whole thing.
Now, how about less weight, more reps, or more weight, less reps? How do you feel?
Well, so the low weight, high rep, what the fitness world, the industry has sold people on is that this is for toning.
Yeah.
And that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I use low weight, high rep in the situation of a fitness beginner who needs to develop mind muscle connection.
Sure.
And needs to have that repetitive motion in order to be able to engage those muscles and actually contract them inside of a movement. So like lateral raises, using only 5 pounds to do lateral raises so you can feel the muscle that you're intending to work by that 20th rep. By 5 sets of 20, you get 100 reps in there, you're going to feel that.
Oh yeah.
Whereas if I just put 15s or 20s in their hands and they're a beginner and they go to do a lateral raise with that weight, they're going to use all sorts of different muscles to recruit and huck that weight up.
Yeah.
And they're not actually ever going to work their medial delts or their their front delts or whatever that we're trying to target.
Right.
And
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you're never going to get that mind muscle connection, but you're never going to tone a muscle. People give muscles too much credit, right? They know just a couple things. Muscles know tension, they know stretching and contracting, they know firing and not.
Yeah.
That's about all muscles do. There's a lot of work done by the tendons in the central nervous system and ligaments and things like that that are contributing factors to how strong a person is.
Sure.
And all that kind of stuff. But muscles don't tone. Toning happens from fat loss. So the more fat you can lose, the more definition you're going to have. You're going to see those striations, those cuts. So that comes from nutrition, is where that plays into in getting your body fat low enough and your muscle your body composition from a muscular standpoint, your skeletal muscle mass up. And if you can do both at the same time or in similar timelines, ideal situation, right?
Wow. Yeah. Fine tuning.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
That's why we got to dial in the diet. We got to play around with it. We got to take you down into a caloric deficit and then bring you back out of it for a little bit, back at maintenance, so that your leptin and ghrelin hunger hormones stay on point. So you're naturally hungry. You can start learning to eat intuitively. And,
oh, wow. Yeah. Damn, dude, you got this dialed in a whole bunch.
Working on it.
That's good.
Working on it.
Fucking hey, man.
Yeah.
Fucking hey. So how does someone get in touch with you for this type of stuff?
Well, so I mostly do. I have a Facebook group, but I treat my whole Facebook as my group, basically.
Right.
So just friend me on Facebook, man. Like, just hit me up there. You can hit my the Kai's Fitness Coaching page and message me through that as well. My phone number's on there. That's just my general phone number. It's out there. You can have it. You can use it.
Send them dick pics.
Send me pics. Don't send me pics. Please don't fucking send me anything. Jesus Christ, don't do that.
Oh,
I'll block you so fast.
You're gonna get some shit, dude.
Yeah, probably. That's fine. As long as it's from people I love.
Yeah, there you go, man. Hell yeah.
But yeah. Message me on Facebook. Have a conversation. Let's talk about it. I get the money objection, with working with the trainer. That's usually a thing. I've got flexible payment plans. We can work anything out. And if you need the help and want the help bad enough, I have what's called let's call it a case study client group. Okay. It's something you apply for.
Sure.
You fill out a certain questionnaire, and if you qualify, then I'll basically work with you in exchange for you documenting the process, giving me testimonials, and we work out the price a different way, basically. Sure. But this is reserved for folks that really want it, that want it bad enough that they're gonna document it and actually do the work.
Right.
Like, again, got to apply for it, and then it's for people that really need that extra help.
Right.
So yeah, hit me up. Let's have a conversation, and we can figure it all out. Like,
yeah,
I don't ever want to let. Sometimes money has to stand in the way. Like,
sure.
I have to get paid. I have to do what I'm doing, and be able to grow my business. And
live,
Exactly. Yeah. So this is like, I have one little part-time job. I'm trying to make it work on this, though. Like, I don't want to go back into the working force.
Right.
Like, that's not my gig.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to help as many people as I can. I'm trying to move more of my business online right now.
Yeah.
And offer more online programs.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing back death metal and deadlifts, but we're going to bring it back into a group class, like an education setting. So like a beginner's weight loss or beginner's strength training type class.
Yeah.
It's going to be offered as an 8-week course.
There you go.
I'm going to look for 6 people in particular that are willing to pay $500 each to go through this 8-week process, and you'll get one individual one-on-one session with me a week, and you'll also get one group session that's instructed by Roman Pinter and myself per week. Out of that
dude's
8-week
shredded
course.
like a motherfucker,
yeah,
too.
Roman's my boy. He's fucking badass.
Both of you guys are fucking...
Hey, look, man, I'm just happy that I can still keep up with a 28-year-old. He runs shit he's a monster in that gym. Like, he really is. And I say keep up with very, very lightly. I had to tell him a couple weeks ago that, like, hey man, look,
I'm old.
Look, every time I train the way that you train, I end up hurt. And I didn't want to admit it to myself, but I'm having a moment now where I'm starting to feel my age.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really sorry, but I cannot fucking lift with you anymore. Yeah. And so I have to do my own thing. I've learned that now. I've admitted it to myself that, I mean, I still train hard. I still train similarly to that, so we can still roll together in the gym.
He's just
a
beast.
He's just a monster, and he never expects me to be able to do everything he can do.
Yeah.
But
he's like this big.
He's put on some heft now.
Well, I mean, he's well put together. I'm just saying, he's not a huge dude. You know what I mean?
No, I mean he's 5'7" and 160 pounds now, like 163.
But he's solid. He's a solid. When you look at him, you can tell he's all muscle.
I've watched people bounce off of him in the mosh pit so many times, like they think they're gonna move him, and then he steps up and he just like his chest just goes right through him. It's just funny. I don't know.
I love seeing that shit.
Yeah,
I love seeing that, especially when you expect them to doink. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So he'll be helping me out with that. He's kind of on board as a secondary coach with me,
Nice.
And we have this, we have this shared passion for doing this, and he's really good at this too. And I feel like he and I working together is a great combination.
Yeah.
So we're gonna offer this course, $500 a person for 8 weeks of both in person and group workouts, and we're going to give you workouts to do when you're not with us as well.
So 8 weeks, if you broke that down, divide that.
Yeah. So if we did the math on that, so I'm not great with, so 500 divided by 8 weeks. I mean, so that's about $6,250 a week.
That's really not that bad.
And you split that between two. So you're, per week, you're only paying $31.25 per session. Like, my normal going rate, if you're just buy an a la carte session with me, is $80.
Yeah.
So it's a hell of a deal,
right.
And you'll learn a ton. Like,
and it's not just it. Now here we kind of touched on this earlier too.
Yeah.
It's like you're teaching you're creating this program to fit into their life. You're teaching them how to fit that into their life. Not like with Rob. We were talking about Rob. Rob's a guy who works his ass off. He runs 3 companies. Yep. He's got to be on call a lot. He's constantly moving. He's not in a situation where he can. I mean, I'm sure he could prep a bunch of stuff and do all of this stuff, and I'm sure that he has. But at the same time, it's like you're teaching people how to fit it into their life.
Yeah, and I think what that's kind of people get a kind of have a misconception about what it is I do.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily so. I'm a coach. I'm not a personal trainer.
Right.
It's a very different approach to things.
Sure.
Like mine is a long-term approach.
Right.
Personal trainers do weight loss challenges. And I mean, nothing against it, but they, a good personal trainer will do more of like a coaching type thing.
Right.
And so I'm not calling myself a good personal trainer, but what I am saying is I'm a coach versus a personal trainer.
Right.
There's a lot more to it. It's more education-based. It's more lifestyle-based. It's more, like I said, long-term and about longevity rather than, just this quick thing. What do we got going on?
Oh, Shayla came in and she just said, "You kids and your cardio." It just made me smile because
that is a warm.
Because you were saying that about but you were explaining it all, and it's just kind of. Crystal says. Working out is for losers. Well, yes, because you're losing.
You ain't kidding.
You're losing the weight, man. Yeah. And then she said, "Just kidding. I need to work out. Lord, I need help." Well, get a hold of Eric.
Yeah,
Eric
shoot me
can definitely help you out. And again, I appreciate y'all for just tuning in and saying what's up to us in the chat. And sorry, it's like so sporadic, and we're just trying to actually have a good conversation. So
hell yeah.
It's I don't like to do this too much, but I have a tendency to because like Adam will come up with some great conversation. He does add to the show, and I appreciate that so much. And so many other people like jump in. Crystal will get off work and she'll say what's up. And Craig Rosen, I work with him, and he'll come on and shoot some shit. And I love that.
The engagement's great.
Yeah, it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
Let me see here. What did I think I missed one of your questions here. do you listen to or watch David Goggins? That dude is a fucking
David
maniac.
Goggins. So I do personally, like, Can't Hurt Me was a big book for me to read.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. He's got just a fascinating story. He's a fantastic individual. His methods are for him.
Yeah.
And if you, again, this is kind of where, like, if you can pretend to try, or if you can try and like get moving and do that, then, cool.
Yeah.
But his whole, like, at any cost deal is probably not great for the individual.
Didn't he like break his back or something? He's like,
well, he's messed up all sorts of stuff on his body in pursuit of these different various goals and stuff. And that's okay. That's his sacrifice. That's his burden to bear. He's willing to put himself and his body and his health at great risk to accomplish these things. And that's an exchange that he decides to make, of his own person. But his whole point is that it goes back to what I was saying, that a lot of this shit is a mental game, man. Like, you got to consider yourself in the future and make good choices for future Greg or future Eric or future Adam or whatever, like, that's what you're doing when you're making the choice to work out today, is that you're making a choice for Greg or whoever tomorrow, and so, I mean, David Goggins, hell yeah. Great source of motivation. And when you're really feeling low and you're feeling like you don't got it, and he calls you a pussy, and you get up and you get going, like, there's just something about, George Carlin had this old bit, when you talk about motivation, I'll hit you upside the head with a golf club 3 or 4 times. That'll get you motivated, get you up and about, find your keys, shit like that, like.
I was just watching It's Bad For You on that dude. He was such an underrated. I mean, comedians realize that Carlin was amazing. If you watch Carlin, but dude, the way he put things together, and in knowing that he would write it all out and recite it until he had it completely memorized in verbatim.
Well, and then he had that specific cadence, about everything. He delivered everything as though it were a song.
Yeah.
He could do that same bit the same way, night after night after night after night, if he needed to.
Yeah.
And he's just a legend. I didn't know he had so many audiobooks out there, and I started downloading them and listening to them on Audible, and they're fantastic.
Shit.
Yeah,
really?
Just one of them, Napalm and Silly Putty.
Yeah.
And then he's got one called More Napalm and Silly Putty. It's literally just his thoughts sporadically as they've, like, popped into his dome. That some of it ended up in various bits, but most of it's just as, like, pure, natural, random thoughts, and he just laying
must
them
have
out.
Been just brilliant.
He's got little jingles between, like, if it's like too far off, like the two sections aren't really matching up. He's got like a little bring. Yeah. Like, okay, we're gonna change gears here, because he famously doesn't do transitional material.
Right. Right.
So. Yeah, it's a fun listen. I love Carlin.
I'm gonna have to check that shit out.
Hell yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I love that dude. He's so fucking, man. Just the way he put it out there with religion, with.
He wasn't right about everything, but he was pretty right on quite a bit of stuff. Yeah. Like, he hit the nail on the head. I mean, he didn't see some of the stuff coming down the pipeline, but he saw a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty prophetic, and even in, like, the atmosphere and the direction things, headed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of interesting to think about that he had this foresight in a way.
Yeah. Fucking A, man. Fucking A.
Yeah.
So people can just, what did he say here? How long do you have to have you been singing or screaming, being a vocalist?
Oh, so yeah, we can talk about some music stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about enough fitness shit.
All right. Well, we can always go back and do whatever.
Exactly.
We can do whatever the fuck we want to do.
That's right.
So what are you doing nowadays, dude? Like, I know with the etheric thing, you guys actually lost one of the members in etheric.
Yeah,
right?
Regrettably, Stu, our leader, and a lot of people thought that was my band.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, 100%, like, that was not my band. I joined that band after it had been a band already.
Right.
I took someone's place in that band, and it meant a lot to me. It meant the world. But yeah, we lost Stu Stelter to taking his own life. Back in February. Yeah. So, or March technically, but yeah. So that we had hoped to work together again. We had kind of mended our fences and built a bond of trust again between the two of us, and things worked our shit out, and it had seemed like things were gonna jump back and pop off, and kind of not. We never really had a chance to fully talk about it, is the best way to put it.
Musically,
okay, yeah, but personally we were good. We'd settled anything that had been out there, why we kind of dissolved in the first place, and all that.
That had to be just knowing that when it came down to what happened.
Yeah. That was part of the contributing thing that, you know, me ending up in the hospital and all that. You know, I divorce and losing my band and the whole thing, and that all collapsing together kind of played into my own issues. And then so to come out of that and have a whole new perspective about things, and to be kind of on the upswing and trying to rebuild some bridges and that had burned down, and try to make amends to things and my own behavior, be accountable to myself. It felt good to settle things out with Stu. And it was really sad. You know, we were all really, really heartbroken.
A lot of people, man. And it's like, I knew him as a guitar player. Didn't really have a chance to ever like sit down with him and have a solid conversation. Like, we weren't buddies. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yep.
But when I saw him, you'd say hello, and kind of with him passing.
Yeah.
When you're part of this community, you see it.
Yeah.
You know, you feel the people that you care about, the people that you are close to, who were close to him. You know, there were multiple musicians and multiple people that had been influenced, and people with their children. And I mean, just so many pictures that popped up, and you really feel it. Again, the hair on my arms are standing up, because it just, it fucking taps into me when it comes to that, because you feel connected when you're part of this music scene.
You do.
And I've been here for so long, and seeing so many people be affected by the loss and everything is just a fucking crazy thing, man.
Yeah, Stu, he was a hell of a talent. I mean, he was a prolific guitar player,
dude, crazy
songwriter,
good.
and hopefully the last things that he was working on, I believe, I don't have the insight, you know, it's not my material to speak on, but right. I believe that it's being worked on and being completed. It won't be it won't be an etheric project, right, by any means, right, but it's the stuff that we were working on at the tail end of etheric, right, that is going to end up becoming something else and released in Stu's honor, I believe. I don't have any further insight into that, but so sure. I had started working on some pre-pro vocals, and I got to send a little bit of that stuff to Stu, and not because I didn't know that they were going to be doing this other thing with that material. So right. When Stu and I kind of patched things up, I went into the studio almost immediately, and I was like, oh, I'm going to fucking do this. I'm going to show him how fucking I'm still on my game. You know, I'm going to show him this thing. I'm super excited about it. And I did like a minute and a half worth of vocals on a new etheric track, and sent it to him, and he was happy with what had gotten done.
Awesome.
And so, you know, just knowing those things, like, there's never going to be any closure or any kind of peace about that scenario, really. I mean, when one of your friends and someone that you love and respect takes their own life, and, you know, you're left with so many questions and everything. But here's the thing. Stu made a choice. And I, as Stu's friend, and the way I've had to look at it is that I have to respect that choice. I think that there's a part of him, or maybe there's a part of him, maybe this is just my own brain coping with grief.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of all of it. But I have to believe that he felt confident that we could carry the weight without him, where he couldn't bear the weight anymore while he was here.
Right.
And that's, you know, call that, you know, judge it however you want, however you feel like, but I feel like I respect the fuck out of my friend and his memory, and I respect his decision. Right. It's been the only way I've been able to make peace with it at all inside myself, and that's just how I process grief, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. But, like, yeah, he made a decision, and, you know, I love him very much, and I stand behind his decision, right. Unfortunately. Right. Like, you know, if I could trade it, you know, and make it not happen, not real, fuck, I would. Right. I would 100% over and over and over again. But I can't. So I'm left with nothing but acceptance.
Right.
That's
or a whole lot of questions.
And a whole lot of questions. Yeah. You know, I mean, I have all those questions still, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I mean, acceptance is where it's at.
Yeah.
It's where it's got to be at.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So in that light, I've had to move on.
Yeah.
You know, after Etheric split up, I ended up joining up with the guys from Winona and Descent of Man.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm part of that project. We've got a bunch of new material ready to roll. We're recording a few singles at the beginning of October.
Now, did you do like some guest spots with those cats before?
No. So I just know those guys we played a lot of shows together when I was in Etheric, and I did a I did redo one of their old songs.
Okay.
I redid the vocals for that. We put it up on Spotify just so people could kind of hear what I sounded like with the band, that was a lot of fun. Kind of cool to put my own spin on an old track of theirs.
Right,
so.
right.
But yeah, three new songs being recorded at the beginning of October. We've got
now. Who's all in that project now?
So it's myself, Dane Paulson, who is in Ruin. He's one of the guitar players in the band Ruin. He's new to the group, and I met him just kind of in a weird way, just through different connections. We met and just kind of hit it off and became kind of.
So they added another guitar player.
Yeah, we added another guitar player.
So they were like a 3-piece for a while, right? Or 4-piece before?
4-piece before. 4-piece. Yep.
The vocalist, bass player, guitar player, drummer.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So Mike Kienitz is the drummer.
Yep.
Tanner Brethorst is the bass player, and Pat Holohan is the guitar player.
Yep.
Dave Sikorsky, who's in Sentenced to Die from Collapsing Sun, he was the original vocalist.
Yep.
They did their thing together for like Aquaman. That's right. Jason Momoa himself.
Yeah.
They did their thing for like 6 years. They've been a band, and so I got the honor of filling Dave's shoes and just trying to do a good job with that. It's pretty sweet. I like the band. New material's banging. It's heavy as fuck. It's death metal and thrash combined kind of thing.
Nice.
It's fast and heavy.
Now,
disgusting on it.
now, Mike he's a fitness guy too.
Mike's a fitness guy too. Yep.
I see him on
He's
the
working his ass
platforms.
off.
Yeah, dude, working quite a bit.
Out. He puts out a lot more videos of himself working out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be moving towards that myself. I love what he's been doing lately. I mean, he's so good at his video editing, and he's really gotten this knowledge about it. He uses it with the band stuff all the time too. He does most of our stuff, like graphic design stuff and whatever. So become really adept at that. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yep.
That's fucking killer.
And then we've got that Winona Metal Fest coming up at the end of October. We're gonna have our first St. Paul show at North Star Room here coming up October 15th. Yep.
You guys just dropped the flyer for both of those shows recently, like within the last week or two?
Yep. Last week was the Metal Fest, and this week we dropped the one for the
That Metal Fest looks phenomenal, dude. That's a hell of a lineup.
We want to play with the best bands around, whenever possible.
Yeah.
And so we just said fuck it and decided to put our own fest together. The bands we wanted to play with. We had a couple of other like Alter Beast was originally supposed to be on that fest, and we were going to do like 5 days with them in Reaping, and it was going to be like this tour thing.
Yeah.
Had to change for numerous reasons. But yeah, so that was our whole intention originally, was like, okay, well,
let's kick this shit off.
Yeah, how do you fucking go about like boosting your career musically? Well, you got to fucking invest the time and money into it.
Yeah.
So let's put together Fest and put together our own tour and like do these things on our own.
Yeah, that Fest is fun. It looks great.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Who's all on that? Do you want
So Agony Reigns.
Great young kids. If you guys haven't seen those guys yet, they are super young and super
so
talented.
Hungry too. Like they're just crazy talented. Like I love those guys so much. And then Virulent Excision, I believe, is one of them from Chicago. They're, the crazy slam, super heavy slamming, brutal death metal.
Yep.
And then Gorgatron from North Dakota, the mighty Gorgatron.
Yep, G-Tron.
Shout out to Paul and Matt, Carl, Cam. Got all those dudes coming down for both those shows, actually.
Yeah.
So down in Winona and the one on October 15th here locally.
Yep.
And then Reaping Asmodea is on that Winona Metal Fest as well.
Oh, shit. That's a heavy hitter.
It's
that
a
is
heavy
a
hitter.
straight heavy hitter. That North Star show's got... Who else is on that?
So Maniacal Force.
Yep.
And then we're going to give Gorgatron the top slot, the prime spot right in the middle there, just because they're coming down from Fargo. And then Descent of Man's going to close out the night.
Nice.
So, yeah, everybody... The coolest thing about that show in October 15th at North Star is that everybody's going to get like 45-minute sets because it's a 3-band bill.
Right.
And, we'll do quick changeovers and everything. And keep the
I've
show
yet to
rolling.
be over there yet. I haven't been over there yet.
It's a fun, good thing the Hexagon burned down because the North Star's better.
Really?
I love it, yeah. I've only had the honor one time of being there, and I know that Jeff's done a lot of work. Jeff Moen has done a lot of
Just
work.
recently, they added a bunch of
PA equipment.
Yeah.
Yep, hanging stuff from the ceiling and shit.
Yeah.
It's effort like that the scene needs.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah. Someone to fucking take responsibility for making it better, you know. So all the bands should really be, swinging from his nuts for getting things going, especially when he, you know, like the time that we're doing this at, you know, when everything's so divisive and weird and
weird,
you know, for
very
him
weird,
putting the effort in, like, fuck yeah, man, like, I want to be
and
part
we
of
need
that.
a good St. Paul spot, man.
That's right.
We haven't had a good St. Paul spot in fuck, what, 7-8 years now. It's been a while, been a minute, and with Jeff doing that too, because he dabbles in Minneapolis too. He his band's playing Minneapolis and everything, so. For so many years, it's been kind of a separate thing. You know what I mean? Like St. Paul always had like a certain crew that would go just to St. Paul shows. Minneapolis cats would come over a little bit, but not as much. And then you got all these, you know, the Hex folks and the show, the fucking basement shows and shit like that in Minneapolis. A lot of those folks wouldn't come over to St. Paul. You know what I mean? And like. Seeing guys like Deterioration doing things at Rostamos and shit
that's
too.
super sick.
It's like in between all of it too. You know what I mean? Like, and I went to one of the last Rostamos shows over there. It is like a dirty VFW with a fucking. I mean, it's so crazy to see that type of music in a small like VFW kind of atmosphere. You know what I mean?
It is. It just speaks like back to when we were kids, basically. And you know, we're first going to shows. Yeah.
Like did you go over and see that Gravesig thing over there at the North Star Bar? What?
Yeah. I was over there for that. That was awesome.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh, dude.
I heard it was
so
super
much fun.
Super energy.
And that was the first time I had been out. At a show since the whole pandemic thing went down. And man, anymore after that, like between Etheric going away and me not really knowing what the future held for me musically and like whether I was going to do vocals again or not, and then the pandemic hitting and just not having shows anymore, like anymore I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going, and fuck yeah, I'm going to be up front, and I'm going to party, and I'm going to enjoy myself when I'm in these moments. No more fucking standing around the back nodding my head. Like, just, I got to be a part of it. I got to be up there. Given the right energy in the room. And that night, you know, when my fucking best friends are up there, you know, ripping it, it's like, how do you not?
And you add Jeremy Blake to that mix, too.
Yeah.
Fucking madman, dude.
Hell yeah.
I love it. I love that shit. And, I feel you with that. You know, when the pandemic really hit, you know what I mean? And you start to realize, like, week by week, that you can't go and enjoy music. You can't enjoy that. And you know, you start to see people doing it, you know, online, which was great to see Down doing an Obituary, do things like that. And, you know, the streaming stuff, that's all fine and dandy, but there's nothing like being in that room, feeling that
nothing like it.
Those vibrations from everything.
It's
you
fucking
know?
like supercharged. I wanted to just stir it. Just
for sure.
Go.
Yeah, for sure, man. I know, you know, getting back into the whole camera thing too and taking pictures and shit is like just being in that and realizing how much you miss it, you know?
Yeah.
Like just snapping a picture of it and looking at it going, oh God, I miss that.
Dude, we played in Madison, Wisconsin like 2-3 weeks ago or whatever it was now. And we played for like 15 people, 20 people or whatever. And I've never had more fun in my fucking life.
Yeah.
I don't care. If it's, like I said, I made a Facebook post and I said, I don't care if it's 6 people or 6,000, I'm going full send every fucking time.
Well, dude, honestly, that's the true test of being a showman.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. You got to just go in and Daniel Copy is, you know, he and I talk about this kind of on the regular, you know, like you got to shake out those sillies and enjoy what you do. You got to not give a fuck how many people are in the audience or whatever. You got to really love it and really just be in the moment and be present and just shake. If you got nerves, fuck it, shake it off. Who gives a shit? Nobody cares. Work harder. Nobody cares. Work harder.
That's true, man. That's true. You know, like John Suffering came in and we were talking about you know, some of his projects and the opportunities that he has at his grasp. You know what I mean? He really has the ability to tap into so many different resources and he's created albums, you know, but he hasn't played a live show.
No.
And I'm not shitting on him for it. I've encouraged him to get on stage and like with some of the stuff that he does, like he has the ability to wear a cloak. He has ability to like kind of hide behind certain things. I know like even wearing makeup back in the day sometimes or whatever, you know what I mean? Like Halloween shows are always
Make
my
yourself
favorite.
A character.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy the role.
Yeah.
Like, I used to have such a fucking problem with insecurity as far as this stuff was concerned because I thought I had to go up there and like look a certain kind of cool or, you know, or needed a fucking sleeveless shirt on or so, you know, like you can put yourself into a costume if you need to.
Yeah.
But like, dude, just go up there. I don't know. Like I'm this is literally what I wore at the last show we played. Like, I just don't fucking care anymore. I don't have that.
There was the cat that said to me, he said he remembered the first time that he saw me play. And he goes, I sat there and I watched you, and he's like, you were so into what you were doing. He's like, you're playing air guitar and like headbanging, and he was like, you were doing some of the goofiest shit, but you were into it. And he was like, I just kept watching and realized he fucking is really in it. Like it wasn't like looking for the,
we go back. The difference between like now playing shows and going back, even if I go back and watch shows from Etheric, like I knew there was a camera back then, so I'd kind of play things up a little bit or whatever. But now I go back and review the game tape, right? You go back and review the game footage and see how you did. And I see myself like, I'm like zombie walking and just like acting like a fucking idiot up there. And I'm like, well, that's just me. That's just how I am now. Yeah. Yeah.
In the moment.
So that's what it is. Yeah.
I think it's like one of those things you can never explain to people properly. You know what I mean? Like they say, well, what is it like being on stage? Aren't you afraid? And it's like, maybe in the beginning for the first song or so till you get it worked out and you get things going. And it's like, we don't have instruments to hide behind.
No.
You know what I mean? Like our focus is not here or you know what I mean? Like the focus is everything around us, like the lights in the back, like so many times, you're in the middle of reciting lyrics, and dude, I've been caught in the middle of like, fuck, that was kind of cool. I actually wrote that. You know what I mean? Like,
while you're in there singing it,
You're throwing down and you're like looking at the back of the room, and then you kind of look over and you see someone mouth it back to you, or like they know right when the drop comes too. Dude. It's like
whenever someone like knows my lyrics on stage, my heart is just like so full at that point. I'm just like, you took the fucking time to know what I'm saying. Like,
knuckles it up, dude.
For real. If you take the time to learn my fucking lyrics, I'm gonna probably hug you.
And we know. I mean, I always say this too, is like people like my parent or my mom and like people that weren't into this type of music. You know what I mean? Like I always said to them, like you can equate it to something else. Like you can feel the cadence. You can feel if you're not feeling
it's gotta
it,
be rhythmic.
you
but be on it.
When someone takes the time to, it's like sitting down and going, okay, I caught one word out of what that dude was saying. Like people would always say this, I don't understand a fucking word you're saying.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, well, your ears aren't ready for it. That's what I always say. And then when you hear the one, did you say this, and this? And you go, yeah, you caught it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're like sparked to go back and like, well, tell me what else you said there. And then you recite it for them, and then they catch it, or they take it, like you said, on their own and run with it. And figure it out.
My favorite thing is always like, I didn't know what you were saying, so I went and I looked at the lyrics and I figured it out. And he's like, you're actually saying some real shit. And you're like, well, yeah, like, that's the idea, right? Is that I'm not saying it. I'm saying this shit for me.
Yeah.
Because I need to.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what I'm saying and you want to relate to it, I'm not really all that worried about enunciating it to the point where you know what it is, because that's too fucking easy. Yeah. You want to know what I'm saying?
Come get it.
Come get it. Yeah. Come a little bit closer.
Find it.
Yeah.
When they realize, when someone asks you about it, and you like, what were you thinking about when you wrote that specific thing, and you break it down for them, and they just go,
yeah, they're like, you put that much, and it's like a line. It's just one line in the song. You're like, no, when I said that, what I meant was, and like you go on a 20-minute tangent, and they're like, that was for one line. You're like, oh God, I wish you knew.
Yeah.
The kind of mind fuckery I have to do to get all of that put into an order that goes to here that matches to music.
What does your daughter think about it? Has she ever commented or listened to it, or like as she asked?
Yeah, we opened for Reaping at their album release party at Lee's, and that was an all ages show, and my mom brought her with. And she's heard the albums and she's heard the music and stuff like that. She doesn't really get it.
Does she goof you? Does she goof?
No, she doesn't really make fun of it either. She just basically says she doesn't really understand it. You know, she understands why, and like she gets my relation to music because she's very musically inclined herself.
That's awesome.
Like she's really in tune with listening to music. And
what are some of her favorite bands?
I don't even. She likes Halsey, and she likes a lot more like
poppy stuff.
Poppy stuff, yeah. Yep. I guess I don't know who she's been listening to lately, but I know she likes Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Poppy stuff.
Yeah, poppy stuff, for sure.
Dude, my daughter's the same way.
Yeah.
But recently, dude, she just stumbled on Nirvana.
Oh.
And so I'm like, oh, you should hear this. And she'll go, no, Dad, I don't want you to tell me what to do. I'll listen to it in my own time.
That's impressive.
And I go, okay, no problem, you know. And then she'll, like I told her, I go, she played some Smells Like Teen Spirit, right? And I'm like, oh, that's a great album. I was like, you do realize that these guys really changed the face of music with this album, you know? Huge. And she's like, oh, really? And then I tell her a little bit about it, and I go, you should really listen to that whole album. No, Dad. And then she was doing something in her room, and she came out with a purpose.
Yep.
Dad, I put it on random, and I listened to the whole album, and you were right. Holy smokes, that was really, really good, you know? And then, like, dude, a month ago, she was like, Motley Crue. And the fuck do you know about Motley Crue? And she's like, you know, the whole Shout at the Devil album. And I'm going, well, that's pretty cool, you know?
That has to be how my dad felt when I started getting into Pink Floyd and like started listening to The Wall all the way through. And I'm like, hey, about that album. And he's like, yes.
Yeah. So like my daughter never really got into anything. Like I told a story about this, about Vince from Nuisance. So we played a show with them, and it was an all-age deal, and she showed up. And I took a picture of Rob and Little Robbie at the Mosh Out Suicide Show.
Yep.
And it was one of those things. I was having a couple drinks, and I was taking photos, and I was like, I looked over, and I just saw him like looking at his dad, you know, 6'6" fucking guy, and this little boy like looking up at his dad, like the dog look, like didn't understand. They're kind of like, huh, you know. And I saw it, and I ran over there, and I took a picture of it. And then I came from the backside and was like a whole different change. Well, I found these pictures on a random memory card.
Yep.
And I wanted to print them for him and give them to him for a housewarming thing or whatever, you know? So I did, and I was like, oh, I want to give you these. But I remember being at the show with Vince and them, you know, and my wife taking a picture of my daughter, and she just kind of like, yeah, that's my dad doing whatever he's doing up there, you know, and I'm like doing whatever. But then you see a picture of her looking at Vince, and she's all like looking at him like, oh. And when we left, it was all I heard was Vince, you know.
Funny.
And I just kind of chuckled, you know. But I had written a song with Outside the Murder that was right when my grandfather was on his deathbed pretty much. And it was a song called Eyes Wide. And the lyrics are eyes wide, growing gray, in your chest, the rattle of death. And that was when he was laying on his deathbed. Basically, he was in a chair, and like his body was, you know, he was a big dude, and he slumped over a lot.
Yep.
So as his breathing was getting worse, and that was kind of the lyric that I had written for that, and I explained it to my daughter, and like explained that song to her one time, and then she just let it be, whatever. And then as she found the Nirvana stuff and then Motley Crue, she had a friend over, and she's like, yeah, my dad used to play in a band. And her friend was like, oh, really? What was it? And she played that song for her friend, and she came back out, and she was like, I have a whole new appreciation for that song. And I was like, you do know that's about Grandpa, right? And she goes, yeah, I remembered that after I listened to it and like listened to the lyrics all the way through. And then she started like asking questions about how I wrote it and what I was thinking about at the time. And I was like telling her it was kind of the scenario on the day that he passed away. You know what I mean? And like thinking back to how because there's a part in there where where I talk about him, take my hand, my love, we'll dance. It's my grandparents used to dance all the time. And like ballroom dance all the time. Like it was his thing. He was like a boxer, right? This tough ass dude, but that was his thing. He loved to fucking dance. You see him during a wedding, like any of his kids when they got married, cutting it up, dude. Yeah. Like grabbing chicks and like pulling them on, you know, like spinning them around and all. He loved that shit. So it was like explaining that to her as, you know, her mind opening up to it was such a cool experience.
Yeah, being able to have that conversation and actually like connect her to the experience of the song. Like, yeah, man. Like
it's got to be cool, like for you too, as well. I mean, even if it's poppy music, but just to have your daughter or your kid like really into music in general.
She's got an earbud in all the time, you know, and it's not just to tune me out. Yeah. At least that's what I tell like myself.
Yeah. I feel that way sometimes too. I tell myself that thing.
Yeah, she keeps it in the opposite ear, the one I'm talking into. So at least it's respectful.
Yeah.
When she's not listening to me.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. No. What do we got going on in the chat?
Let me see here. What are we going here? Allowing music to... Okay, we'll go back up a little bit here. Allowing the music to take you. The music is your stream, and you are asking for the ride. That is true.
That's true.
Adam knows. He's a guitar player, singer.
Yes.
And yeah, man. I don't know if you saw the tag earlier, Adam. Somebody tagged you in something about bass player drummer looking for a possible project. So if you look on Facebook, I believe you're tagged in something that I was part of too. So look that up and maybe talk to those people if you're looking to.
Oh yeah, get after it, man.
I know he's still doing the Forever and Gray stuff, but I know that he's got material burning holes in his pocket, and I know that he's also doing his studio stuff and kind of getting that rolling too. So
nice.
I know Adam's looking for some musicians to kind of come in and fill some of the solo stuff that he's doing too. Cool. Let me see here. Let me see here. That feeling must be amazing. It is actually very, very. It's incredible what music does for guys like us. I really feel it as a purge.
Yeah, it really is. It's letting go, really, of a lot of things is how I see it now. I guess I always felt like it was something I did, but now I feel like it's just it's something I participate in. It's different. It's just a different viewpoint now. I don't know. I
always felt like I needed it. At that time, I needed it. Like writing it for me was like it changed so much from like the death metal where it was like
and like the
satanic or or gory or something like that, to where it became something that I always felt the stuff that I connected with was stuff that was pertaining to that artist and what they were opening themselves up just a little bit for us to connect to.
Yeah, like I love Cannibal Corpse, and I love all the gore, and I like all the too, I guess not all the gore, but I like to a certain degree of like that storytelling element of things, like the morbidities and things like that. But I really get into like the human dynamic of it more than anything. Like I like to peel back the layers of the lyrics and really look at what's the root of things instead of, and like you said, somebody opening themselves up and making themselves a little more vulnerable. And even if they're doing that through a narrative fashion, like telling a story still, sure, but more rooted in like human behavior and emotion.
I always like people that didn't understand why our fascination with the morbid side of death metal or extreme metal in general. You know what I mean? Like, well, it's negative, it's violent, it's that type of thing, and I always tried to explain it to people like, yes, there are killers out there. Yes, there are people that do glorify it in a certain fashion. Yes, there are stories that are written that are similar to that stuff. But a lot of times it is taking a negative and turning it into a positive, to where it's like a movie. They're playing that movie out for you.
You want to have them put it on paper, or you want to have them take it to the streets? I prefer to have them put it on paper. Let's keep the violence in the movies on the page.
But also turning that gross feeling or that dirty feeling into
catharsis.
And being able to project it in a positive light. Like you said, do you want them to project it that way, or do you want them to actually do the shit?
Because they can just keep internalizing, and then we'd have just more and more terror. Right? Just terrible shit.
And if you think about someone who's writing that stuff and letting it flow inside their head, you know what I mean? Like, if you've ever met the band Macabre, honestly, dude, like I've never been so. That was the main vocalist of Macabre. I honestly felt uncomfortable around him.
Yeah, like, oh no, he fucking means it.
Yeah. I mean, the dude, he's real. He's for real, dude. Nice enough guy, but honestly, that was it. Let me see here. Almost like a true hug, like someone who actually listened to when you listened to you when you talked. Yeah, and truly cares. Damn, love the freaking this conversation. I'm not crying. It's something in my eye.
Well,
Well, see, and this is the thing. Like Crystal, my friend Crystal here. She is one of those gals that is not someone that would wait on a dude to help her fix something.
Oh,
you know
I like
what I'm saying?
that. Yeah.
Like she's
get after it on her own kind of person.
Dude, she built like this gazebo thing over her hot tub. Like she separated from a dude, right? And like got this really sweet house and like fixed all this shit up on her own. And like, she's a go-getter, you know?
Hell yeah.
She has a son, and she's always been a fisher hunter person. You know what I mean? Someone who's always outdoors, and her son is the same way. You know what I mean? He likes doing this stuff. He he wants to do some streaming stuff and things like that.
Cool.
And she's asked a couple questions about that type of stuff, but she just posted like pictures of her son out on a goose hunt. So he had like multiple goose and like got his fill and shit. And I feel the same way when I talk about the music with my daughter, like connecting with your children like that.
Yeah.
I was talking to my wife the other day. We were using some friends of ours as an example. Busy folks.
Yep.
Mom and dad, always busy, kind of in the scene, have lots of kids.
Right.
We used to spend a lot of time with them. And what I noticed was my wife would sit down and read a story, and all of his kids would run over and sit down, and like they didn't get a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I never understood that. I never want, like, I don't want to tell somebody how to live their fucking life. Like, hey, dude, sit down and read a fucking story. What's wrong? My wife reads a story and your kids want to sit over there. Like, you know what I mean? But his kids loved to sit there and listen to my wife read stories to him. Like, loved it. And would always bring books over to her to, like, do it. And we would go over there and she would do that shit, you know? And it was one of those things where I just didn't understand it, like, the interactions. But my first child, I didn't get a chance to do a lot of that stuff on the fact that her mother and I didn't get along very well.
Right.
So with Madison, my middle daughter, which is my wife's daughter, I got to experience that. And then having my youngest one, it was like full on. If she was playing and I saw her playing and walked by, I'm sitting down and playing.
Yeah.
You know?
You gotta take the time when you have it. Yeah. Yeah. You learn that. You learn that when all of a sudden your kid's 15 and you look back and
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I know you are. And like you're like, shit, I missed out on some things.
Yeah.
While dad was working, you grew up.
Or
you understand how important it is to take the time.
Yeah. Well, you think about all the younger times too, when when they needed you. You know what I mean? When you're with them and they like, Dad, I need you to help me do this or tie my shoe or fucking I fell down and you're helping. You know what I mean? Like you're building them.
Yeah.
Like that feeling, man. I look at my 14-year-old and go, fuck, I miss all of that. You know?
Yeah.
Like it gets me weepy to where I'm like, damn.
I do miss that. I've been missing that more lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I've been especially as she's like creeping towards 16.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn. You know, and you think about all that time you spent working, all that time you spent, doing whatever else you were doing, and you maybe, didn't get to see as many things as you wanted. Like with your first kid, you're saying your situation with the mom wasn't all that great, so you missed out on a bunch of stuff, and I feel that.
And here's a funny thing is I had a conversation with her not that long ago, and it was her basically shitting on her mom. And what's funny about it, it's not really that funny, but it was kind of weird because when she was born, I was partying a lot. I was fucking chasing the dream, trying to play as much as I could and get travel out of town and just really into my thing,
Yep.
And I wanted her to understand that her mom did the best she could with her,
Yep.
So when she contacted me and said, I understand why you didn't like my mom or didn't get along with my mom. I understand she's this, that, and the other thing. And I just was like, my older self would have been like, yeah, fuck that bitch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where I was like, your mom really did the best that she possibly could,
Yeah.
Like being young, having a child at a young age, and then not having a guy to support her, like to not support her financially, not only that, but to bear part of that,
part of the burden of raising a child. Yeah.
The responsibility, all of it.
Yeah.
And it was the conversation was, but I know how you feel now, like she's this and this. And I'm trying to like say, listen, I understand that you're having a rough time like dealing with each other right now. Like you're very similar. You're very, you're very strong women.
Yep.
Yep. You have to like get past all of that and trying to be like the right person and not be a shithead and like go, yeah, you know what? Fuck her.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
It's so, yeah. And that, that exact thing, if I'm being 100% honest and transparent, like that's something that I'm finally able to see for myself that like I can't say anything negative to my daughter about her mother anymore. Like I've done it, guilty as charged, man. Like and not in like such a denigrating way, and like never like, oh, that stupid bitch or anything like that. Never anything like that. Yep. But just openly, a little too openly discussing, you know, whatever may be the fucking current itch that needs scratching for the week, like conflict wise or whatever, you know. Just not scratching that itch to say those, because it makes when you do that to a kid, and what I'm realizing now is that it's the ripples, but it also makes both of you look like assholes if you're just talking about each other behind each other's back. Like it just makes there's no fucking point. Like, and the only one that
suffers is the kid.
Yeah, because she thinks both you guys are assholes, and they're put in a weird situation to, you know, have to try to take sides or manage their parents' relationship between the two of them. And you know, maybe I'm speaking a little because it's a little topical, like for the day. In fact, you know I personally, that's an area that I'm going to be paying some attention to and working on for myself. Like,
dude, I honestly had a chance to see that dynamic from the outside, not only being involved in it with my first child, but with Madison in the middle of the parents going back and forth with each other and being the guy like saying, all right, you guys are fucking knuckleheads. Like, if you guys don't realize this, she's the only one that's going to suffer, and you're both going to be looking like assholes, you know? Yeah. Where daughters, a lot of times they'll side with their father, right? Because they're drawn to the male aspect of their life. Girls need their father. Yeah. Boys need their mother. Yeah. Right? It's just kind of one of those things that divides the family like that. It just happens.
Especially in the teenage years. Like that, for sure. Yeah.
But seeing that and being able to like be an advocate for the dad on certain things, but also being like talking to him like, hey man, you know, if you went about this a different way, I'm going to be behind you trying to help you in my house. Whereas if you go this other way, now you guys are pulling this thing apart, and now the kid's the one that's going to suffer. Yeah. I've actually sat down with her dad and said some things, and like, hey man, it's not my place to like say this shit to you, but she's not going to say this to you. Right. And this is what she said to me. Right. You know, and him just kind of looking at me and knowing that it's probably hurting his feelings because that's his daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what's hurt feelings in that regard? Like, you know, get the fuck over it. Yeah. Let's work for the betterment of the kid. You know, like there's what you like got to keep in mind.
Years of all of that division between all of us, to the point where like, you know, my wife has even said, you know, I'll send my husband over there to kick your ass to the guy. And he said it to me. And I'm like, I look at her and go, did you really say that? Like, why would you say that? Like,
jump me into a fight like that.
Yeah, this not even, you know what I mean? That's not what I'm even about. Like, no. This has got to be for your guys' you know, your daughter, kid, you know? And that, and then, you know, like relaying it to my daughter, to Sophia, you know, it's just kind of one of those things is like, you just, man, time's so fast. It goes by so fucking fast, man.
That's what I'm realizing, you know, more and more every day with whatever situation is going on. It's like, yeah, we need to figure this shit out so that everybody can be on kiddo's side, not on whoever's of their own bullshit, you know, like we need to get over ourselves and make it happen for Peyton, not for...
I think in general, a lot of people, a lot of this conversation tonight, man, it is, I think people should go back. If you're catching the tail end of it, you need to go back and start from the beginning. Cause there's a lot, man. There's a lot of stuff, man. And, so musically, dude.
Oh, musically, yes.
I'm sorry. We kind of went off on a crazy tangent.
That's what we do though.
But, musically, you're guys are ready to release some stuff here pretty soon?
Yeah, Descent of Man's getting ready to do their thing. You know, we're getting ready to drop some singles, hopefully this winter. We're going to the studio with Roman Pinter. He's going to engineer our 3 singles for us.
Nice. Does he have his own studio? Is he working for a studio or what?
He's got his own setup in his just in his apartment or whatever, but we are going to rent Will's studio for the weekend so that we can track drums and strings, and then he's going to Roman will mix and master it on his own setup and everything. And yeah, we're going to drop one single at a time. And then, so beyond these 3 singles, we're also working on a full length. We got some music videos that we're going to end up working on. We got some artwork. We'll start putting out. We're gonna do some new merch, just all that kind of
that
stuff.
New fucking logo.
Oh yeah, the
crazy dude. I like.
Yeah,
that.
we had it made into like a sigil.
Yeah.
The same way, like it's a symbol, and so we can put on patches and hats and
Dude,
stuff
I
like
really
that. It's
like
just
it.
more
It's cool.
versatile than the other one,
Yeah.
and it speaks a little bit more to the style of the new songs, because the new songs are decidedly more aggressive.
Yeah.
Than previous stuff. Which
tell Mike that anytime, like, dude, I wore my Descent of Man shirt to work today, so I had it on.
Yeah.
But he was like, now I love when bands do this. Now he's seen me talk to other people about 4X, like, hey, get me a 4X. I will always buy a 4X, no matter what fucking band. If you're watching this and you're in a band,
4X.
not the Scent of Man. Look at Andrew, put it up there. What's up, Andrew? Hey, folks, if you want to check out another really cool YouTube channel, Thrash Metal Studio, with Andrew Altman. He does a lot of setups and teardowns of guitars. Talks amp stuff, talks all kinds of techie shit when it comes to heavy metal and his gear and what he does and everything. Fantastic show. Go check him out. I know he does stuff on Wednesdays, but like we were saying, he mixes it all up. But Mike was one of those guys that saw me talking about having big guy shit, and he was like, dude, I got you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, reached out specifically. I had one made for you, and that is fucking killer. I love that.
Hell yeah.
That's always a great feeling when, people are starting to figure it out a little bit. We do live in the Midwest. There's a lot of big dudes around here,
What? No way.
I wish I wasn't, I wish I could fit into like a 2XL. It'd be great, but.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
Can help you.
Work it out.
That's right. That's right.
Well, that's good, man. I'm glad. And the show's coming up October 15th.
October 15th, and then the Winona Metal Fest, if you want to come down to that, October 29th, Halloween weekend. It's a Friday night. Roll on down, and, it's 2 hours away, but, for $20 and an advance ticket and that lineup.
Fucking lineup is killer.
Yeah, it'll smash your teeth in. And Ed's is a really cool little bar, too, and they've got a great sound setup, and they've got a great sound guy, and it's going to be just everybody.
What would you compare it to?
Venue-wise?
Yeah.
Bigger than, well, a better setup, nicer setup than like a Hexagon or I haven't seen the new setup at North Star, but like pretty similar to that kind of size. Stage, there is a decent sized drum riser and stage, but it's small and the band is packed. Yeah, the band is packed up there.
Yeah, that's always good energy though.
Yeah, and the lighting's real low and like dim, and it's got just like an ambiance about it, and they've got a good lighting setup. They got a good sound guy who knows what he's doing. He used to run sound like out for like Summer Slaughter shows and things like that, touring around and everything. So he knows metal.
Capable dude.
Yeah, real capable guy. So yeah, it's going to be a packed show. It doesn't take a lot of people to get that place feeling packed. So yeah, it's going to be fucking sweet. And then beyond that, as far as like the Descent of Man stuff, Climactic is actually finishing up a second record. So finally, after it's sat on the shelf for literally close to a decade, it's been on the shelf for a minute.
Kyle reached out and got it all together. Now, who's all playing on that?
So on that record, it is myself, Dan Copy on drums, and then Kyle Skogquist on guitars and bass, and Tim Morton on guitar as well. Yep. So that's the lineup that played on this record.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome. Now everything's recorded, or they're.
We're in the process of, so we're demoing vocals right now, but everything else is done.
Nice.
Yep. So we're doing pre-pro on vocals, and then it sounds like we might send it off to someplace to get mixed and mastered. Dan's a part of it, so he's going to send it off to someplace super fancy and have it all done up real nice, which is great for me. I love that shit. So yeah, more of that, please.
Hell yeah, dude. And it sounds fucking killer.
It's going to be good. We're excited about it. It's nice to be back to that world too, Didn't think I was going to do the vocals on that record, and it just turned out working out where it's going to happen again. So
yeah, that's fucking killer.
Yeah.
I like that this stuff was awesome back in the day too.
Oh, thanks, man. That was fun.
Hell yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah, dude, Kyle, man, I miss that cat, man. It was always great to see him everywhere.
He's a good man.
The fucking, at the pawn shop, I'd walk in there and be like smiles all day long, and just anytime you see Kyle, it's just always great.
Yeah, Fuck, he lives in Michigan now, so I haven't got to see him in a long time.
He reached out to me about doing some vocals on that album too.
Oh, really?
It just didn't work out at the time. I don't think I was ready to get in any project or do anything. You know, like
maybe a guest spot.
Yeah, just something. I was just kind of like, you know, I didn't really know where I wanted to be at the time.
Well, I mean, now maybe a guest spot.
Yeah. Fuck. Why not?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Give it a shot.
Why not?
Give it a shot. See what here. Where are we at here? He rings that bell more time. One more time.
I don't know what that said.
I don't know what.
Maybe I'm getting too close to the microphone.
Love those guys. Let me see here. Face it, we're old now. God damn it. Andrew, thanks for reminding me, huh?
I don't feel old. I don't know.
I feel better. Greg has always has helped raise my son since day one. My son is almost, yeah, for sure. Jaden's good shit. Good kid. I think of his family as even as far as mine. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Takes a village to raise good children. Ain't that the truth?
Yep.
The scent of man. Andrew, you're funny. Let me see here. Climactic material still.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
Oh, it says holds up, and I always love playing on that, playing bass on that.
Oh yeah, I think that old climactic stuff still holds up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't really matter.
What was the name of that album again?
Set the Rapture ablaze.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you guys do multiple versions of that stuff too?
Yeah, so Nick Wellner, formerly of High Hopes and After the Burial, long time ago, original vocalist there, and he there was a whole version of that record that was released with his vocals originally. So Kyle and him wrote the lyrics to that first record and the patterns and did the vocals and everything. And then when I joined as part of the live lineup, it was just encouraged. You know, I wanted to do my own version of it.
Yeah.
So and they let me do it. So
oh yeah.
It was cool. It was a full like remix, remaster, and redid the vocals. So there's a version out there with Nick Wellner's stuff on it, and then there's a version out there with my stuff on it. Yeah. So it sounds
find them
cool
both and compare them.
Yes, find them both and compare.
Enjoy both of them.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, badass, cool. Dude.
Yeah.
Fucking badass. Now I wanted to ask you with the fitness stuff. We'll go back to the fitness stuff a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, I'm good.
Hydration.
I'm good. Hydration. Yep.
Like what? Like that's huge.
Hydration is really important. So supplementation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hydration. Yeah, gallon of water a day, man. Gallon of water. Drink your electrolytes. I use a product from Caged Muscle called HydroCharge.
Yeah.
It's flavored. It's like 10 calories, I think. Maybe 5 calories a scoop. And it's like the flavor I have right now is orange mango. Just put it in water. It's your electrolytes. It's a Spectra Auroch antioxidant blend, so it's going to help with your immunity and everything like that.
Nice.
It's naturally sweetened. Like I said, but only 5 calories. Tastes delicious. You can swing into GNC and pick it up for me.
Are you working at GNC?
Yeah, so I work part-time at GNC Twin Cities Live Well, which is owned by Matt Burnham and his partner Nicole.
What part of town is that?
It's over in Brooklyn Park.
Okay.
It's off like 610 and Zane area, Colorado Lane.
Not too far from you.
Yeah, kind of by Cub Foods area. There's a big strip mall it's a part of. But yeah, if you're in the Facebook group or you are a client of mine, get it varies like 10 to 20% off depending on the product that you end up coming in and getting. But we also do free in-body body composition scans. So like let's say you're just beginning your fitness journey and you want to know exactly where you're at all the way down to the amount of skeletal muscle mass, and you want to be able to see like how much your right arm weighs versus your left arm and that kind of stuff, and how hydrated you are, to speak back to the point.
Yeah.
You can come into the store there in GNC and you can run yourself a scan. It's going to tell you your weight, your body fat percentage, like everything, and you do that for free.
Nice.
Most places charge like $200 to run a dynamic scan on you like that. We just offer it as a service to our customers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yep. And it'll give you a printout. It'll save your information via your phone number, and you can continually track your progress. You know, if you want to stop in each month and do a weigh-in, which like with that death metal and deadlifts class that I'm putting together, we'll do monthly or bi-weekly weigh-ins to see where everybody's at and see how the body composition is changing and stuff. But these are the kind of things that if you don't track them, same thing with hydration, if you don't pay attention to how much water you're getting and you're taking in, how do you know? Right. You know, you don't know. So it's good to track it, good to pay attention, and then you can add or subtract as you need from there.
Now, how about supplements? What do you recommend as far as like getting going as far as vitamins or anything?
Right now, especially with it coming into the the fall and winter. Speaking of water, I would say that the most important things to be taking are definitely quercetin, zinc, vitamin D3 with vitamin K2 included in that.
Yeah.
A supplement called NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine, which directly influences blood glutathione levels, and glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. It's the main fighter of oxidative stress in your body. And oxidative stress increases your cortisol levels, and that fucks up your immunity and makes you susceptible. If you can't battle oxidative stress, it makes you more susceptible to things like COVID, makes you more susceptible to things like pneumonia and just general like fucking up your sleep patterns and everything. So by elevating your blood glutathione levels, you are basically protecting your body.
What is that stuff called?
It's called NAC. So NAC. And actually, coincidentally, the federal government, it just so happened to be right when, because NAC actually helps with thinning the body's mucus,
right,
that naturally occurs, and it impacts your respiratory health. The federal government decided to make NAC a Schedule 1 substance, coincidentally, right around the time COVID came out.
Weird.
Yeah, and so this thing's been hard to find, but we have it. It's not officially a Schedule 1 substance yet. It's like being tested. It's kind of in that in-between limbo phase right now. And you can look it up. Like, there's information about this all over the place. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Sure.
I have no fucking skin in that game at all.
Right.
I want you to take NAC because it's good for you. I
Right.
don't give a shit about the rest of the stuff.
Right.
But it is a little coincidental. And it does have, like, there's plenty of studies and plenty of functional doctors, functional medicine doctors who've been using glutathione inhalers and NAC as a pill or a liquid form to elevate blood glutathione levels in people who have COVID or who have high susceptibility, or like they're out in the public and stuff like that,
Sure.
like to boost their immune system and things like that. And the people with elevated blood glutathione levels are seeing far less severe symptoms, less hospitalizations, less death, less
That's fucking awesome.
comorbidity and things like that. So, yeah, take your fucking vitamins, man. Like, get some D3, get some zinc. If you're going to take zinc, make sure you take it with quercetin or turmeric or, any kind of so zinc and minerals like that. They need a positive ion to get drawn into the cell to actually
availability.
Exactly, to actually be bioavailable.
Mm-hmm.
So take zinc with some turmeric or some quercetin and get that shit in your system. Take some vitamin D. Like, take your fucking vitamins.
Take that D.
Take the D.
No, stop by, get some fucking vitamins. We'll give you a deal on it, and we'll get you, protecting yourself.
Let me know when you're going again. I'd like to, or when you're there again. I'd like to check that NAC shit up.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you got it available,
we do have it available.
All those things that you're saying, I take on the regular, zinc and D and
good
fish oil and fucking all of that shit.
Keep inflammation, your inflammation response. Inflammation in the body is a natural process. It's part of healing. It's part of whatever. But you want to keep that response dialed in. Like, sharpen that blade. Like, let's use inflammation as a tool to heal the body instead of chronic inflammation. This helps keeps that in check.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Dude, thank you. How do people get in touch with you
Send me a message on Facebook. Okay. That's the best way.
Or the Kai's
Kai's Fitness Coaching on Facebook, at Fitness Coach Kai's on Instagram. Get a hold of me. Have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thank you, dude, so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
For talking. This was a fucking really, really awesome conversation, dude.
Good.
We talked a lot about a lot of things, man, and I appreciate you, being vulnerable and actually talking about, getting better and feeling better, and you know what I mean. It's huge. As I've always felt this way, and I'm kind of like older generation type of thing, old school type of thing, where a lot of the guys in my family didn't talk a lot about a lot of things. And I felt like I was one of the dudes that was like real sensitive, real like I was able to talk about things. You know what I mean? Like,
same.
It was important to me to, like, as far as like just resolution, dealing with things, like you have to talk about them, to get them all out. And it's important, especially with the mental health stuff going on, and being, I guess, quarantined or away from people, or having this anxiety with all this pandemic shit going on, and people being scared on the regular, and crazy things happening in the world right now, and all of this stuff. Like, it is very important to be able to be in touch with yourself, and to be able to expel some of that bullshit that's going on in your life. Like, if you don't have an outlet to talk or meditate or work out or have positive, reinforcement in your life, period.
Yeah.
Like, that positivity, man, that you're putting, the ripples that you're putting out to people, man. Like, it's huge.
I'll say one last thing. Like, if you are having an issue, you're having a tough time, like you're having trouble, just regulating your life, your emotions, anything like that, and you need help with anything like that, I don't care if you have money or not, reach out to me. I will fucking go to the ends of the earth to try to help you and point you at least in the right direction. I don't have all the answers.
Right.
But like you said, sometimes people don't feel comfortable talking about it in such an open way.
Yep.
Slide into them fucking DMs, man. Like, I'm always around. I'll seriously, I'll help whoever I can, whenever I can.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate that. And thank you to everyone that joined us.
Yes, appreciate y'all.
And come and chat with us. Appreciate y'all very much. And thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, saying what's up, all that happy shit. We love you. Make sure you stick around, check it out, all that type of shit. RitualMadnessPodcast.com. Go check out all that stuff. I got all kinds of blog stuff that I've been doing on there, too. So new material, new stuff up there. Thank you very much for checking it out and sticking around. Y'all have a good evening. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast.